All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Friday morning. I think that's the most imperative thing to do. Get your heads right. Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be A-okay. I'm mostly just talking to myself. It's been a long week. It's been a stressful week. Yesterday was one of the more long and stressful days I think I've had in a very, very long time. But it is great. My wife making it way worse already. Like, puts in the group chat, babe, it would give me a lot of satisfaction to organize the office together tomorrow. If you're trying to kill me, if you're trying to put me in a box, you're well on your way, woman. I don't want to organize the office tomorrow. I don't want to do anything tomorrow but sit on my ass and do nothing. Okay?
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
Please. Just when our show starts, hey, also, just know in the back of your mind you're going to come home and we're going to organize the office tomorrow. I can't do it, man. Well, I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. Happy Friday to everybody, no matter what else
Don't
is...
ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
No matter what else is going on, you can't take away from us that it is Friday.
There's never been a more... I've never had a bigger spirit animal than that Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
From what, 4 or 5 years ago?
At least. I think that was first year Ben and Woods. This guy is watching. It was the Steelers were like in the playoffs or something.
They blew it.
So it's been a while. They blew it. And his wife's not saying anything to him. He's doing
filming.
He's doing the preemptive strike on her, where he's like, hey, and he says in it, he said, you're gonna fight here.
You're gonna find me dead!
Dead.
I'm gonna kill myself!
That's so hardcore.
Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
It's a good bit. I mean, last night after that game, I mean, you could have pulled the. I'm not doing anything. Okay, don't ask me to organize the office. Nothing. You know, it's funny, as we sat yesterday in our, we go every other week to marriage counseling. That was one of the things I said to her. I was like, look, I just sometimes feel a little overwhelmed, and I need a little grace. And this is the grace I get. It's 6:01. Hey, just so you know, you got 4-hour show to do. You got about 2 hours of production to do. We got to pick the kids up from school. We got a wedding tonight. And then tomorrow, we're going to clean out the office.
You got a wedding tonight.
Yeah.
Who's getting married?
My buddy Cookie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, getting married tonight, so excited about that.
Are you performing the ceremony?
No, he didn't ask me.
You
Thank
just get
God.
to go and enjoy the wedding.
Yeah, I actually just get to go, and I don't have to do anything special, or I just get to be there and have fun and have some pops. And yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. But we got a very special guest in studio this morning as well, all the way from New York City, and he's not on camera. But his name is Ryan Cohen, and you guys may know Ryan Cohen, super Padres fan and beloved friend of the show. Wanted to come in and hang out. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good, man. Happy to be back in San Diego. Oh,
Is that on? Which one? Check.
Let's try this.
Try it again.
how do we sound now?
Not great. Not great at all.
Not good.
Hang on.
I promise you, he's
we
there.
How do we sound now?
No, terrible.
Nope. Okay.
We're on fire. Maybe that mic. No, this one. There it is. I can
That's
I can
the
hear
one.
it.
Yeah, there it
There
is.
it is. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Well, life is better when the Padres win, but
Not
they
the last 2
did
days.
not win the last 2 games, so I think that's why everybody's a little bit on edge. And you know, you don't have a wife to make your life worse like I do. You don't have to clean the office tomorrow unless you want to come over and help her. That'd be great. But welcome back to town, man.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
I say it all the time. Landing in San Diego, I think is the best feeling in the world.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. How's New York City treating you?
Dude, I'm having a blast.
Are you?
Man.
How could you not, man? How old are you? 20?
Just turned 24.
24 in New York City in the Big Apple, working for John Boy, and getting to talk about, cover, create content for one of the biggest media platforms out there. It is nuts. It's nuts. And we were just talking on the way up here, man. Ryan has not been in here since his freshman year of college, which
Wow.
is insane. And now he's in New York, and I'm like, Like, man, Bo was just a little dude at that time. Very, very little. Taylor wasn't even on the scene yet. And look at you now, New York City.
I had plans to come in here and hang out with you guys right before COVID hit.
Yep.
COVID hit. Obviously, you guys weren't here. And then, for whatever reason, just haven't been back in the studio. And yeah, life has changed a lot in the
It
last
sure
4 or 5
has,
years.
dude. It sure has. I mean, I love New York. I think New York's one of the best cities in the world. This is obviously a different vibe. I couldn't do if somebody said, "Would you move to New York now?" No, but at your age, I wouldn't have made it out alive. But it would have been a fun.
You might want to tamp
years.
down the New York loving for just the next couple of days while
You're right. You're right.
the New York
Mets.
team is in town and making life miserable on the San Diego Padres and their fans. But that's just me. It's just me.
I love San Diego so much.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying myself. I'm in my 20s. New York is great. But, like, San Diego's better.
It's not
don't ever.
close.
And, I tell everyone there that as well.
Yeah.
So I'm having fun, but my heart will always be here. For sure.
Yeah, no question, man. No question. Well, welcome, man. Glad you're here hanging out, observing the show, and it's just good to have you. It's good to see you, dude. I'm very proud of you, number one, and very happy for you, number two. You think, what are the plans? Like, is it just, I'm just gonna keep rolling?
Yeah, until I'm not happy.
Keep rolling
yeah,
until
I
you're
don't
not
know.
happy.
Dude, I'm not good at planning. Here's a little behind the scenes. I kind of lied to people a little bit when I moved out there and said that I had a job. I think I had to lie to myself in order to move across the country. I had somewhat of maybe kind of an opportunity.
A chance.
But my foot was like in the door. I did not have a job.
Good for you, man.
I went 6 months without a job.
That's a huge step to take.
Yeah, it was terrifying. It was
really
terrifying.
scary.
And it's fun to tell now because I have the job and I love the job. But, in February in New York City when it's snowing and I miss my friends and my home and my parents and the Padres, what am I doing?
And you're surviving on your $0 salary.
Dude,
a
you know
year?
what I was surviving on? My Wheel of Fortune winnings.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's the reason I was able to move there.
What a great story. Now I lost $50,000 on the wipeout, so I didn't lose it. I just
You didn't lose it. You had it in your hands, like
Correct.
literally
All I had to do
right
was
there,
finish.
and you lost it. But
Yeah.
you didn't lose. You didn't have to pay $50,000.
No.
You didn't like leave in debt,
It
like
didn't
owing
cost
the
me.
show.
I've been broken ankle, concussion. I mean, it's
Little medical debt.
medical debt. But dude, really proud of you. Really
Thank you.
happy to have you back here and enjoy the show and hang out.
Well, I have, I love my job now, but you guys, a lot of people in San Diego media have really taken me under my wing since I was in high school when you really didn't have to. So I'm very grateful for you guys, this show, and everyone here who's been so nice to me and helped me out a ton.
Well, listen, I mean, so Ryan Cohen is basically saying it's our we are the ones that he's giving us the credit for getting him to New York. So I'll take that today. I needed some credit.
I'm pretty
today.
sure he gave Vanna White the credit for
Yeah,
getting
that's
it to
true.
New York,
That's
not
true.
us, but that's fine.
A lot of credit to a lot of people.
Love you, man. Proud of you, dude. Very, very good. Very good stuff. The great Ryan Cohen, Mr. Positive. I needed him in here this morning because I was feeling a little negative Nancy.
There's
after
no
last
more
night.
positivity that you're going to get from a Padres fan than Ryan Cohen.
100%.
Which is weird. So obviously it's a FRIAR Friday, and we'll be talking with Mike Shildt a little bit later. But it comes down to this, and you saw it last night after the game with Mike Shildt, his post-game news conference, and we expected it. We've gotten to know him well enough that we understand that Padres fans, and we include ourselves in that group, and Mike Shildt are on different wavelengths. And sometimes I'm sure he thinks we're all insane right now. Team loses twice. 2 games in a row out of a 162-game season. And you could see it. You could sense it on social media last night. You could sense it even kind of in the stands, the just impending sense of doom and panic that sets on this Padres fan base.
Got me after the very first at bat.
You can,
that ball
you can
was
sense
ripped.
it.
I was like, all right, here we go.
And Mike Shildt does not understand. We've actually talked to him about this.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand our doomer mindset. He's going, this is very normal in a baseball season, people. You're going to have good stretches. You're going to have tougher stretches. You're going to lose games in a row consecutively. It's 162 of these. And just like we're right where we want to be. We're 15 games above 500.
Yeah,
we're
for
holding
sure.
a playoff spot. He just is not going to grasp our existential dread about the next bad thing that we all kind of expect to be happening. as Padres fans. And similarly, we don't understand him necessarily and his relentless positivity and never, like, there isn't even a panic button. He doesn't need, not only not hit the panic button,
Doesn't have one.
it doesn't have one. It does not exist. It will never exist. There's no button anywhere that he could ever hit that would cause Mike Shildt to panic about a baseball team. Even when his St. Louis Cardinals needed to win 17 in a row at the end of the year to make the playoffs. Just go ahead and do it. That's the way he's wired. But he's wired differently than I would say the majority of Padres fans. Even Mr. Optimism, Ryan Cohen, has a little sense of that doom and dread, right? Not if he,
Sure.
Yeah, he got that sense. We all do as Padres fans, just because it's just the franchise history that's been built into us. We expect disappointment, and when we start to see it, it's a familiar feeling that we don't like.
You hate it. You hate to see it.
Jake and Jordan from Cespedes family, who you guys know well, talked about it at the break, where if your team had a good first half and you lose a couple games at the beginning of the half, you go, was that all fake?
Yeah.
Did we smoke and mirrors? Did we fool everyone? Padres have lost 2 games in a row after the greatest stretch in Padres history in the regular season. I'm a very optimistic person. And last night on the flight, I got a little bit of, oh, God, if we lose the series to the Mets, and then we have to, it happens. It happens. Now, I love Shilt's mentality. I think that's how you have to be as a manager. And I still think they're going to win tonight. I'm very optimistic about this team. But, yeah, that impending doom is certainly there a little bit.
Well, let's check in with Padres fans. Paul, if you have any kind of music you can put up, I'll just read some tweets from the final score thread last night. Well, let's check in with the rank and file, if you will. Ready? I'll wait for any kind of music.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, whatever. Take your time. I got literally nothing but time today. Nothing.
You could always start reading, and then Paul, you could just ease in with the music after you start.
I like
Okay.
there we go. Collapse is coming. Strap in. Here comes the crash. No. Release Gillespie. Just give up. What are the script writers writing? Tough loss. Great team effort, boys. Be better. Gonna put 2010 and 2021 to shame, huh? I may not survive a 2021 type collapse again. It's over. Go home. Disaster game. Embarrassing team, Padres. Don't do this, Padres. Well, not good. I hate this team. Just unutterable trash. This is the first 15.
This is wild because Twitter's usually such a positive place. So this is like, it's real now. Like the doom and gloom.
I have the same thing. 8-game losing streak incoming.
Oh, yeah. That's so good.
Collapse coming. I mean, I've got the same tweets. And you know what? There's some reason for concern. I'm not going to just tell you everything's completely fine and okay. They're in a tough stretch. They're in a dangerous spot in the season. 16 games in 16 days. We'll talk about it coming up here. But, yeah, I mean, the pitching's gotten a little concerningly thin again at this moment, at a tough spot in the season. They're missing 2 lineup regulars now in Kim and Tatis when the offense is not coming through quite as consistently as it did before. Yeah, there are signs for concern. There's also every reason in the world to believe that they will once again come out of it, as they have every single time this season.
Yeah, buddy.
When they've had a bad stretch. Much worse stretches than losing 2 in a row, like the last couple of days. And they've come out of all of them every single time. And Mike Shildt just kind of nods and goes, yeah, see, this is what I've been telling you.
Told you.
We're going to keep getting better as the season goes on, and we're not going to let these little setbacks hold us back. We'll see if he's right again, or if the Doomers finally get their day, and this is the final collapse that you've all been worried about all season long.
No, and to say it a different way, this is the final collapse that you've all been waiting for, eagerly anticipating. Like, yes, I knew it. Like, that's a weird way to fan, man. That's a weird way to fan. Yes, told you.
But
Told you
definitely some things to talk about. Wasn't a perfect game by any
No.
stretch of the imagination. We'll set the menu for the show when we come back. It is a busy day, not just our show, but all the way through today on 97.3 The Fan. We'll let you know about that coming up. First, though, Woodsy's got one more thing.
Got a very, very special shout-out today to Nathan and Kate, a couple of huge Tier 1s. They had their very first baby, and lucky them, it's a girl. Kensington is the newest Tier 1. Little teeny tiny baby Kensington.
Love that name.
I do too. So welcome to the
Kenzie? You call it Kenzie for short,
I
maybe?
don't know. Probably not, based on a girl that I knew named Kenzie. I'll just call her Kensington.
Just Ken, then.
Just Ken. Welcome, Kensington, and congratulations, Nathan and Kate, on your baby girl. And welcome to the Tier 1
Waiting for
family.
little brother Normal Heights to join the program.
Right. That's okay.
Did I make it not as fun as you were hoping?
Kind
and
of.
sweet.
Not as sweet as it was.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
All right, Kelly's got traffic. We are off and running on a Doomer Friday here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Seems like we're all desperately in need of a little good news. So why don't we just start there before we do anything else? Padres did have some good news on Fernando Tatis Jr. yesterday. Before the game, I was listening as Tony Gwynn Jr. was broadcasting from the booth and was looking down. He was talking to Chris and Scraby and said, guys, I see Fernando Tatis Jr. sprinting through the outfield. And that was, I immediately perked up. I was kind of, doing the whole in traffic, kind of listening on my way to work. And I go, okay, that's notable because that's the one thing they've been hesitant to let him do since the stress reaction and shutting him down. It's the main thing that bothered him. It's the main thing with the femur. Once they say he can sprint, they've always said that means he's close to coming back. And that's what Tatis said yesterday. Yeah, he said, I'm close. Mike Shildt was a little more vague, but said we have a looser timetable now. We won't really share it. There's still some water under the bridge a little bit, but he's definitely progressing to getting back to playing. It's good news.
But I like the looser timetable.
There is a timetable. There wasn't a timetable at all.
Yeah.
Now there is at least some sort of timetable. We can speculate as to what that might be. Mike Shildt confirmed after the game he expects Fernando to be on the field today, taking batting practice with the team, which is a very a normal thing that players would do, and everything seems to be trending. If they do like they did with Xander Bogaerts, try to get him in a couple minor league games, maybe live pitching against some of the the major league guys, and then 3 or 4 days after that, maybe a return. So we could be talking within the next 2 weeks.
Settle down. You don't want to.
Early September, perhaps. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but that would be a nice lift for the team right now. You're trying to get through this last stretch of the season, hold on to your spot for the playoffs, and getting him back, and then hopefully getting Ha-Seong Kim back, which is now another 6 days on the injured list before he's eligible to come back. Would be a nice lift. Not only two guys just added back to your lineup, but two guys who bring a lot of energy every single day at a time in the season where you need as much energy as possible to get to the finish line. So that was the bulk of the good news yesterday from your San Diego Padres.
I'm sure you may have witnessed it, but he did some sprint work today, which is great, around 70%, which is a clear sign of progression. So. Yeah, did meet with him. We have a looser timetable now, but we won't really share it because there's still some water to be, just some water under the bridge a little bit. But he's definitely progressing to get back to play.
So, what would you say is the percentage Fernando Tatis Jr. would need to outsprint us? 70 is way more than he needs.
4.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's in the 20s, maybe.
No.
Here he goes again. I think on a good day, I could get.
If Fernando was running at 20% of his top speed, you don't think you could beat him out? 1/5 as fast as he could
I was being
go.
optimistic for us at 10%, but I think it's single digits.
70 looks plenty fast, obviously.
Yeah, dude.
1/10 as fast as his top speed is still faster than a normal radio host.
Man, that was a good sign. It was a good.
That's 70%. We got it running in the YouTube chat, the video that Sammy took yesterday. 70 looks pretty fast to me.
Yeah, I think he smokes all of us by far.
Yeah,
by far.
Well, clearly it's 70%. I'm talking 20%.
Maybe I get him at 20. 20%. I don't know. Come on, man. I'm not.
Dominic
dead.
says he beat you on crutches. I'm not saying that he couldn't.
I think I don't think it's fair to put you and I in the same
Fair
category.
enough. Fair enough.
I've seen
I'm
you
not
run.
a runner. I'm not a runner.
I've seen that. Not that I'm fast. I'm not. But
Ben's about to challenge Tyreek Hill to a race.
Yeah, even on my best day, running is the thing I have no chance at beating anybody in.
You're honestly, I can say this. You're honestly the only guy I could beat in a foot race. I think on the planet. I would smoke you, and it's like I've never been able to say that because everybody's always run laps around me, literally and figuratively. So I think you're the only one, but that's okay. That's okay. No, it's a good sign, man. And, when he's ready to come back, I for his sake, I just hope he's really, really healthy. I know he's going to be ready to play. This has got to be killing him. Eating him up inside, watching all the guys out there having as much fun as they've had this season. And make no mistake, man, as bummed as we are about the last couple days, this has been a really, really fun season. So, yeah, man, I mean, we're the dopamine that we got from the best run in Padres history is a real thing. And it's okay when you don't get your dopamine to feel a little bit like you're in need of it. It's It's the nature of being a sports fan. I mean, you get so honestly, we got so used to them winning and scratching back and clawing back that I got a little nervous when I saw Cease getting barreled in the first inning when they were because they were barreling him. This wasn't like a
Could have been a lot worse than a one-run
100,
first
dude,
inning. Yeah.
I was fully expecting the swings that they were taking of him. I'm like, this is 4 runs. Like right away, we're going to be down 4-0, and kudos to him for really pitching his ass off after he made the adjustment. But we'll get into the breakdown of the game next, and got a good show for you today.
Yeah, after the Padres wrap up, 7 o'clock hour, we've got our normal features like Take on Woods and Don't Do This. But then the guests start arriving at 8 o'clock. Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue will check in, talk baseball. Mike Shildt in our manager's report at 9 o'clock. We'll work a Reindl Report in there somewhere. And it is a FRIAR Friday, I should mention, to Padres fans. 2:20 this afternoon, Gwen and Chris are going to have Jason Adam on as their weekly FRIAR Friday guests. So my suggestion was that they play our song for Jason Adam.
Oh, the ass song.
The ass end of the bullpen Adam Scott Suarez song to see what he thinks about that and if maybe he could be a fan of AI generated content.
Well, now you put Gillespie in there and it's gas. And I don't mean the good kind that fills up your car. I mean the other kind.
Well, we'll definitely talk about that as well in our Padres wrap-up. Coming up next, stay tuned, the lowlights from an 8-3 loss to the New York Mets when we return on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Padres made a roster switch before the game yesterday that ended up being consequential during the game when they sent Matt Waldron down to AAA. We talked about it during the roundtable yesterday. If they were going to make a move, they did. They did not wait. Called up Logan Gillespie back from AAA to put into the bullpen, maybe temporarily as well, but he did, of course, end up pitching that ninth inning and factored into yesterday's game. We will get to the lowlights of the 8-3 loss to the New York Mets with our Padres wrap-up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple things to watch out for in your travels. Crash involving a car and a motorcycle south on 15 to the East 52 connector. It's over the right shoulder. And looks like a big rig may have had a blowout. South 163, Claremont Mesa Boulevard. It's over the right shoulder, but we're seeing some tire debris in the roadway. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Got a career-high 9-game hitting streak going, and he's been slugging during it. Hits this one hard over Machado down the left field line. Going to be more extra bases. Lindor rounding third, he scores easily. And Vientos into second, now a 10-game hitting streak. And the Mets go double-double to begin the night, 1-0 New York. Ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and Alvarez takes outside, gets off of Campusano's glove, goes to the backstop. Winker will slide in safely ahead of the throw, and what might end up being called a passed ball gives the Mets a 2-0 lead. Swings here, grounds it up the middle. McCoy to his left, long way to go, has it. Throw to first, not in time. And Iglesias will score to make it 3-0. Tremendous effort by Mason McCoy, who ended up all the way on the other side of the infield. Big crowd anticipating something big, and a one-hopper to second, snagged by Iglesias. To second one, Lindor's throw wide, but Alonso able to hold his foot on the bag. Jose Iglesias just showing off the hands. Run scores as McCoy crosses the plate. For the Mets, I'm sure happy to trade 2 for 1. And a double play, and now a 3-1 game. 0-1 to Vientos. The pitch. Fastball bounced up the middle, and that'll find its way through. A base hit. McNeil has scored. Taylor's on his way. No throw from Merrill. 2-run single for Vientos against the drawn-in infield, and the Met lead is now 5-1. He is now up with Diaz in the bullpen. Winker sends one in the air to left center field. This time, Profar not going to be able to get there. Bounces down, hops up against the wall. Alonso rounding third. McCoy's relay to the plate comes in behind the dish. Winker all the way around to third base. Another run for the Mets, and it's 7-1 here in the ninth. 2-0, and Iglesias hits it on the ground to the left side. Manny to his left has got it, spins around, throws to first, not in time. Iglesias beats it out. Winker comes in to score on the infield hit, and now 8-1 Mets. 3-2 again. Profar hard hit on the ground through the right side, and a base hit. Campusano on his way home. He'll score 8-3 in the bottom of the ninth inning. 2-out RBI single by Jurickson Profar on the 9th pitch of his at-bat. 1-1 on the ground right side. Alonso dives. He's got it from his knees. Feeds to first in time. Razabon covers, and a stellar defensive play by Pete Alonso to bring this 9th inning to a close.
I mean, we know what we're going to get. That's the comforting thing about it. We know what we're going to get. 26 guys who show up ready to compete, prepared the right way, see the game, play the game. And, we've lost a couple in a row. It's going to happen. But, yeah, I ride with this club. This club's ready to get after tomorrow already.
Well, Mets have Padres' number this year. That's 4-0 in 4 games. They've already clinched the season series, which is kind of bad because that means they have the tiebreaker, and hopefully it doesn't come down to that. Padres still have a 4.5 game lead over the Mets in the wild card race, but if they did continue to chip away, they now have that in their back pocket for the end of the season, knowing that they have clinched the season series against the San Diego Padres. And I don't know if it's just not a good matchup or whatever, but Padres have played 4 of their really worst games of the season against the New York Mets. The 3-game sweep in New York, and now game 1 of the 4-game series here at Petco Park. And I want to start by saying I've been reading from afar really positive reviews for Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets, and they came out with a good game plan against Dylan Cease. I mean, they clearly had a game plan. It was swing more, swing early, swing in the middle of the at-bat. Just keep swinging against Dylan Cease. I think Mudd pointed out like a crazy stat that by the 6th inning or so, they were swinging at 95% of Dylan Cease's strikes. The normal, like, major league average, about 68%. It's like he said, guys, we are going to be aggressive. They started out with the double, just swinging first pitch on that Mark Vientos double down the line. They wanted to attack. They wanted to maybe catch Dylan Cease, before he could get ahead of them 0-1, 0-2 and start dropping in that nasty slider. And it worked pretty well. I mean, Cease obviously recovered nicely after that first inning and was a much better version of himself. But they managed to scratch those 2 more across with bad play by Camposano on the pass ball that hurt. That cost 1 unearned run there. Infield single, really close play. Mason McCoy nearly had him at first, and that was the other run. After that was the game. Then it was just, could the Padres get anything going against Severino, which they really couldn't. Had a couple of chances. One really good chance there with Jacob and the bases loaded and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Did everything he could. He hit the ball. The hardest ball of the night, by the way. Just under 111 miles per hour.
Unreal.
Had an XBA of like 790. Amazing play to turn the double play.
Yep.
He got the run, but that really killed the vibes of that. What could have been a big comeback inning never happened for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, that's going to happen. You barrel a ball, and I mean, I can't believe some of the responses I saw to that. Like, Jake's got to get that ball in the air. Number one. You guys were watching Luis Severino last night, right?
Filthy.
He was filthy.
Might be the toughest pitcher they faced in the second half of the season,
Good
at least
God.
the way he was throwing yesterday.
He was nasty, dude, and the steady diet of sweeper, the really sharp sweeper that he was throwing was and it stayed in the zone, a long way. They always talk about the tunneling, and his tunneling was pretty solid, and Jake did everything right there, man. You hit the ball 110.9 miles an hour. Yeah, man, the guys made a good play. And it was a tough one. It was a tough one for sure. The top of the order got to come through a little bit more. But other than that, man, Dylan Cease, I legitimately thought watching him in the first inning, I go, this could be one where it's 4-0. Like the good swings they took off him, the way his slider was kind of hanging. You saw him get away with a couple. I think Alvarez missed one that was, the biggest cookie I've ever seen, and he fouled it straight back, and he knew it. And so, yeah, man, Dylan Cease did what an ace does. I probably don't have my best stuff tonight, and they clearly have a plan on me. I need to adjust a little bit, and boy, did he. 2 earned runs, 1 walk, man, that's fantastic. You kept in the zone. You scattered 9 hits. You gave up 2 earned runs. You had 1 walk. It was a really, really well-pitched game by Dylan Cease, especially knowing he didn't have his great stuff early.
Yeah, I know it's weird to say. He gave up 9 hits, which is a ton, but 7 strikeouts, getting into the 7th, that's a quality start.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And if the Padres had scored 6 runs, we'd be, lauding Dylan Cease even more as, one of the guttier performances of the season, didn't have his great stuff, kept the Padres in it, and then they end up winning the game. Well, because they didn't rally, the narrative seems a little bit different. But Cease and Hoeing did their jobs in keeping the Padres in that game. Brian Hoeing with an inning and 2/3 of scoreless relief with 3 strikeouts, and the Padres were still in it all the way until the top of the 9th inning.
Did I say top of the order or middle? I meant middle. The middle of the order. Crone, Machado, Xander, Merrill, 0 for 15. Plenty of chances to drive in runs there. Yeah, man, one of those guys is going to need to have a game to beat a team like the Mets, and a pitcher like Luis Severino just wasn't in the cards last night. So I was pretty bummed, and I was really bummed by how it kind of ended. When we were kind of in it, 3-1, and I'll be honest, I guess I don't necessarily understand the move for Gillespie other than just we have so many games in so many days. If he goes out and gives me 3 outs, I'm in good shape, and our team can go out and win a ball game. His ERA now is up to 7.71. You know, you had Alec Jacob that was down in AAA. I thought Gillespie, even the call-up was a little bit of a weird move. Jacob's got a 1.42 ERA in the big leagues. He's been really successful.
They actually can't bring Jacob
They
up
can.
Without putting someone on the injured
I think
list.
they can. Well,
I think they need to wait a few more days.
A couple more
is
days?
what I saw. Yeah, unless they put someone on the IL.
He was demoted the 8th. So he's past the 10 days
15
required.
for pitchers, isn't it?
I think it's 10.
Is it
I think
10?
it's 10. I think they could have called him up. So again, they know way more about it than I do. Alec Jacob could be nursing a sore knee. I have no idea.
He could have pitched yesterday or 2 or 3 of the 4 days, and they don't want to use him yet. And Gillespie may be on his way back to AAA today.
I would imagine he is.
There was an arm they had. It was either use him today or don't use him at all. Mike Shildt decided, well, let's use him in the 9th. We don't have a lead to protect. Let's not use one of our higher leverage arms in the back of the bullpen, and maybe still
for pitchers. You're right. 15 for pitchers.
Maybe still lose him at the maybe still lose the game, and then we've used Adam or Scott or someone. So they gambled, tried to keep the deficit there with 2. And Gillespie has had some good outings as well, but he's obviously, if he was one of their better pitchers, he would have been on the team already,
right,
and not just called up for 1 day. So took a little risk, backfired when they gave up 7 hits and 5 runs in the 9th inning and didn't have a chance. Now, don't come to me and say, well, then the Padres then score 2. We'd be going to extra innings. The Mets aren't. They're putting in Diaz, in the 9th. It's a totally different game. Now they still may have come back. You would rather be down 2, but you can't just simply say, and then the Padres go and score 2, and they would have been going to extra innings. It's a totally different situation.
It is.
In the 9th inning, if it's a 3-1 game.
But now what you've done, by putting Gillespie in and him giving up so many runs, they didn't have to use Diaz last night. And so now Diaz is fresh for tonight. And so, again, man, having a crystal ball or having the benefit of hindsight is the best. You can sit on your couch and question every single move. That one was a little bit surprising to me. And really, it was surprising to me before he threw his first pitch. And it was really surprising to me after he threw his last pitch. So it just, listen, they're not always in the cards, but they ended up scoring a ton of runs and not having to use their closer. Not the best night for the guys. As I just mentioned, the big boppers in the middle got to come through there. 0 for 15. Not going to get it done. They know that. Be ready to compete today, and we move on. We turn the page. But, yeah, you got to figure out a way to beat these guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. But
Padres have a block with the Rockies. Yeah, every team has a team or two that they struggle against for whatever reason during a season. There's matchups, but you can't let it end up being like a 7-0 season series sweep. You got to get a couple of these games the next 3 days, and then we're fine. As we said yesterday, you take a split of this series. You want to win it, but you take a 4-game split, and then the Mets make no ground up while they're in town, and you've killed 4 games off the schedule the rest of the year, making their job much, much tougher to try to catch you. They did what they had to do in the first game. They've given themselves a chance to win the series, take 3 of 4 or all 4, and that's what they're aiming to do. Now it's time for the Padres to bounce back, and then they'll do so with Joe Musgrove in Game 2 of the series tonight. You're going to get a bulldog effort from Joe, especially against these New York Mets. Question is, can you get some offense to support Joe Musgrove right now from a team that is not 100% in their lineup and still missing some key players? So that's going to be the trick to the series going forward. Stop putting yourself in these early holes. Give yourself a lead, a chance to get to that back end of the bullpen confidently. You love where the Padres are. If they're up in the 6th, you love their chances at winning games. But you've got to get there first, and it has been a bit more of a struggle this past week in finding leads after 5 or 6 innings to get to that back end of the bullpen that is so nasty and devastating.
Well, and now you have a really, 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 really fresh bullpen. It's very, very fresh tonight. If Joe Musgrove doesn't have it, and he will still be on some sort of pitch count, I would imagine they're going to be watching him very closely.
Probably can get into the 80s or even close to 90, though.
What was he last time, like 75?
I think he got up to almost 80, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if he's on an 80-pitch count, You've got Estrada, you got Yuki, you got Tanner Scott, you got Morahone, you got Suarez, you got Jason Adam, you got Sean Reynolds. Like, you're stacked tonight. You're ready to go. And, let the chips fall where they may, but the offense needs to come through. Who's throwing for the Mets tonight?
Blackburn. Paul
Blackburn.
Right-hander. Has made about 13 starts this season, I think. Okay results. Not certainly one of the aces of their staff, but, right now, you just have no – with the Padres, there's not – a lot of teams, you face an ace, you struggle, you face the back-end guy, you score a lot of runs. Padres, it's not quite as linear. Sometimes they do better against the good pitchers, struggle against guys like Austin Gomber this year. It's been a little bit more weird when it comes to when the Padres offense clicks. It's more about the Padres than I think who they're facing.
I think you're absolutely right.
Which is fine. They just, aren't quite as hot as they were coming out of the All-Star break now offensively, and they're going to have to find it again. This was always going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
There was not going to be no hiccups from the All-Star break right to lifting the World Series trophy at the end of the year.
Correct.
That's never going to happen. It was never a possibility. There's going to be more tough moments after this before the end of the season. That's just baseball. So now it's a matter of shortening those tough moments, hopefully to no more than like 2 games here, and getting it turned around before it becomes a real festering problem going forward, like they kind of did let it a couple times or in the first half of the season, letting those 2-game losing streaks become 5-game losing streaks 4 different times in the first half of the season. They've avoided it so far. This side of the All-Star break, can they continue to do what they've done very well tonight, nip it in the bud, and start a new winning streak with Joe Musgrove on the mound? We'll find out.
Musgrove threw 73 last week.
Good. So, yeah, I mean, really effective.
So 80 sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that'd be great. Would love to see that. Adam just said in the chat, my son said, Dad, I have a City Connect hat. Can I be on Ben and Woods? And that's our boss, Adam. And I said yes, but Ben says no. Sorry. No more kids in the studio, per Ben's instructions. So, sorry about that, Adam. Sorry about that, Ethan. Not going to happen, buddy.
We even made Ryan Cohen wait until he was an official adult before he came in the studio. It's just...
Yeah, Ben was not happy the last time you were here. You were just a punk kid, and he hates kids. So it's good to have you here. You have full mustache. That's what you need. That's what you got to have, a full stash.
Can't grow facial hair. Get that.
Then I better leave. Actually, if that's the rule, I'm the one who can't grow facial hair in this studio.
Dude, our rally roach kind of lost its mojo. Do we stomp him out or what? Is the rally roach over?
No, let's lean into him at least one more day.
Okay.
I don't think he's the problem.
Come on, buddy.
We just need.
All right, we need 2 out of 3 this
We
weekend.
need Ryan to give a kiss to the rally roach as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not like, they have lost 7 times since the All-Star break. The rally roach isn't perfect.
It's not perfect.
The rally roach is simply winning 3 out of 4 good.
Yeah, and we need
so
some
far
rallies.
this year.
Yep.
I'll take 3 out of 4 against the Mets happily. Rally roach stats are still plenty good for the San Diego Padres. All right, we'll come back. So what are the Padres going to do now that Matt Waldron has been sent down? Obviously, he's not going to be making his next start on Monday. What are those options? What is Mike Shildt and A.J. Preller thinking going forward with the Padres pitching rotation? Talk about that and play some Take on Woods when we return on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, Padres, as we mentioned, made a move yesterday before the game, sending Matt Waldron down to AAA. We had an interesting conversation about that on the roundtable yesterday, and Craig Elston made the point. I don't know that El Paso is a great place to figure yourself out when things are going poorly. I think he went as far as to say, you send him down to AAA and make him throw in the Pacific Coast League, he's not coming back this year. But that apparently is the plan, and the Padres are hoping that he can figure something out and, iron stuff out, because I would imagine they'd love to have Matt Waldron back at some point, pitching the way Matt Waldron was earlier in the season. But he has not been pitching that way over the last really 5 to 8 starts, and the Padres decided they could not wait anymore for Matt to figure it out on the big league level and sent him down to AAA. Now, obviously, they called up Logan Gillespie. He's not going to be the guy who starts on Monday, so we don't know who is going to be that 5th starter now for the San Diego Padres. But, the same options that were there before are sitting there now for the team. Who are they, Woods?
Well, quickly, they did say about Waldron. Kevin Acee had it in his newsletter this morning. He says Waldron won't be pitching in El Paso in 5 days. He might not even go to El Paso right away.
Okay.
He could go to the team's complex in Arizona to get some throwing in. Could be, a bit of a just dead arm fatigue. It's the most innings he's ever thrown. And, man, he threw some really, really high-stress innings for this team and really did a great job for this team at a time. And like I said yesterday, man, sometimes a rest, a mental reset is exactly what you need. I feel bad for him. I mean, he's a rookie. He was in the thick of it, and nobody – I got this mental image yesterday of him having to go and pack up his locker when he's been such a valuable part of this team. And it's not like one of those guys like, hey, man, this is just a roster crunch thing, and we're just maneuvering some things. I haven't been getting the job done. When I was getting the job done, I got to pack my stuff, see you fellas. I mean, it just broke my heart. It broke my heart yesterday when I thought about it, because he pitched some huge, huge games and got some big dubs for this team.
Mike Shildt acknowledged, and Paulie, do we have any of the sound of Mike Shildt talking about Matt Waldron?
Post-game?
Yeah, after the game yesterday. So Mike Shildt acknowledged that they have worked him hard as a rookie and how important he has been to the success of the team.
Yeah, we're still figuring out what that plan looks like. The biggest thing, didn't get a chance to comment on it before the game, but it's just a reset for Matt. I mean, we're in the position we're in for a lot of reasons, a lot of guys, a lot of contributions. But I got to tell you, Matt Waldron's been a huge part of our ability to be where we are. We've talked, and we know that guys are going through this. His first time, Michael's going through it as a starter, but Michael kind of got a reset button, used the All-Star break to get him some extra days. Also, we, unfortunately took the comebacker in Baltimore, but it gave him another, 10 days or so. Dylan got a little bit of a break over the All-Star break, because he should have gotten the rain out in Pittsburgh, created a little bit of a breather for him. Matt Waldron hadn't had that, man. He's taken the ball. He's been on pretty much regular rest or getting an extra day here or there. Even after the All-Star break, he only got an extra day. He allowed Dylan to get one more, which allowed him to get 2 extra days. So, he's been carrying the mail for us and done a really good job. Big part of what we're doing, how we're doing it. Just looked up and realized, what, we need to take a reset, for him to be able to go and work on a few things and, regroup a little bit and be ready to come back.
That's a really fair observation.
Sure.
Every pitcher got a nice break at the All-Star break, extra days, except for Matt Waldron, who pitched the weekend going into the All-Star break and then pitched, right coming out of the All-Star break. So guys like Michael King and Dylan Cease could get a little more rest to their arms. And this guy who's still technically, a rookie and has not been built up like, thrown 200 innings or anything like that in his career, has been taxed by the Padres. And while he throws that knuckleball that may make it a little more easy for him to go deeper into games, that's still a lot of mileage on his arm. And he throws the, other pitches more than half the time, even when he's using the knuckleball a lot. So I think this is a case of hitting a wall, a bit of fatigue, maybe some rest. They're not going to overthrow him. Whatever they put him, Arizona, AAA, he's not going to be overthrown. He's going to get a chance to really rest his arm probably for at least a couple of weeks, see where he is, and then hopefully he can come back and contribute for the Padres. But leaves them with, again, the question of what to do starting on Monday when his turn in the rotation comes up. And talk about that here for a couple of minutes. If you want to call in to get in line to be contested on Take on Woods, you can while we talk about it. 833-288-0973. Our lines are open right now, so jump in for your chance to play against Woods in our musical trivia game. Win a trip to Las Vegas coming up here. But so I think the likeliest scenario, would you agree, Woods, is Randy Vasquez returning?
Yep.
If this was, let's say, a playoff game, though, wouldn't you say that the way the Padres would have the best chance to win would be to go with a bullpen day?
Yes.
Maybe like a Hoeing,
Brian Hoeing,
and Reynolds together, to try to cover 5 or 6 innings and get to the back end of the bullpen.
Sure.
But that's not necessarily a great strategy when you're in the middle of 18 games in 18 days. Those bullpen innings are precious. There's no reset day coming up. I don't know that the Padres can afford to do that. They need someone who can put a little length to the start. And
you probably will see that in the playoffs, by the way.
Absolutely.
If it gets to a 7-game series,
It's
short of Darvish returning and being ready to go, and you can go Darvish, Cease, Musgrove, King, you're probably going to see a bull. And I, by the way, have no problem with that.
Of course. Randy Vasquez isn't starting a playoff game. I don't even know that Matt Waldron would be starting a playoff game.
I don't think so.
It's
Perez,
Cease,
probably not starting a playoff
King,
game.
Musgrove, probably bullpen day. With all the resets and extra days off during the postseason, at this point, if Yu Darvish is not back, that's my 4-man playoff rotation.
Yeah.
Cease, King, Musgrove, bullpen day.
Yeah.
And I think that's the smartest strategy in the playoffs when you have days off.
You can't manage these
now,
games like
though,
that.
you can't do that.
Cannot do
you
it.
can't do that. And
You have to.
I know fans will be up. You're in a pennant race. How can you punt by putting Randy Vasquez or Johnny Brito or calling up a rookie like Omar Cruz, not knowing what you're going to get? Because that's how you have to manage a long season. Even late in a long season, if you try to throw everything to win one game on a Monday in August, you may cost yourself multiple games over the next week because of an overtaxed bullpen that no longer can be effective. So that's what I'm expecting on Monday. That's probably the right thing to do if you're the San Diego Padres. Question is, can they get an effective start out of someone like Randy Vasquez, who has been struggling at AAA? A lot of guys do in El Paso, but certainly hasn't been giving anyone a lot of confidence that he's going to come in and, shut down a team for 6 innings.
Well, at the end of the day, though, I mean, think about this, Benny, with the way that it's set up right now with your lead and what you've been able to do, and the other guys, the Kings, the Ceases, the Musgroves, the starts you've been getting for if Randy Vasquez comes up, Ben, he doesn't and goes 5 innings or 6 innings, okay? Like, really the results, I don't want to say they don't matter, but they just come up and give us 5-6 innings. Do what you got to do. If you give up 4 or 5 runs, okay.
Sometimes you have to win games with your offense.
100%.
You can't win every game by having your pitcher go 6 or 7 and limiting the other team to 1 or 2 runs.
Exactly right. And you
have to win some games with offense.
I see this all the time of like, man, why this is a pennant race. Why was Waldron left in? Well, Waldron was left in because it's a pennant race. Because you're not going to go to Tanner Scott in the 3rd inning. Because you're in a pennant race. Right? Like, think it through. There's so many bullets available. Those are your best bullets. You don't waste them when you're down 5-1. You just don't. They may be your best pitcher.
And maybe you don't waste them when you're down 3-1, even in the 9th inning.
And I think that's kind of where it falls last night. So, yes, they need to win the games, of course. But it almost is like you're flipping a coin. Did we get a good start? Did we get a good, solid 5 innings from our guys? We did. And we're still in the ballgame? Great. Now we can deploy it.
What blows my mind, if you're going to criticize Mike Shildt for anything, he's overly aggressive in protecting like leads with his back end of the bullpen.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. 4-0. We're going to Robert Suarez. We're going with 4-out saves. He's been very aggressive using his top relievers. So if he says this is not a great place to use one of my top relievers down 2, I'm going to trust him on that judgment.
I am too.
He always errs on the side of going after the win, being aggressive with his bullpen. That's what we've seen all season long.
And if it's flipped and we're leading by 2 or whatever, or 4 or 5. If we're leading by 4 runs tonight,
You'll see
You'll
Adam,
see Ass.
Scott, and Suarez.
If we're
probably
leading-
five
if
runs.
5 runs.
You'll probably see them.
You're getting the ass
He will
tonight.
aggressively go after that win.
Having guys that can wear it and go out and give you 5-6 innings it's imperative. It's imperative because that's why he didn't yank Waldron in the 3rd inning the other night and go with Hoeing. That's why he didn't yank Waldron the other night in the 3rd inning and go with any of the other guys and say, well, I know we can claw back into this game. No, it's a punt. He'll never say it.
Now it's a playoff game and
Playoff
you're down
game's
early.
different, yes.
Yeah, you may go to those leverage arms very early in a game.
If it's 2/3 of an inning and he's giving up 4 runs, you're done. You're done. And then you got to figure it out. And those games are no fun either. But, it's a totally different game in October.
All right, we will talk with Mike Shildt coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. That's a ways off, though, on a FRIAR Friday. Right now, it's time to play. Let's take on Woods. All right, Lance, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you are our contestant today for Take on Woods. It is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. If you can beat or tie Woods in our musical trivia 5-question challenge, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing. It is a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, which is terrific. I was there earlier this year. 2 tickets to Carrie Underwood and her residency Reflection at Resorts World Theater. Get your own tickets now at AXS.com, Access.com, or RWLasVegas.com. Lance, you get to choose our category here. We still have that Sprechen Sie Deutsch category sitting there. Been there for 3 weeks, I think. Those are big-time bands that have made it big, but they are German-related. Sister Acts, 5 different bands with sister in their name, and Genesis, all about the band Genesis. So, Sprechen Sie Deutsch, Sister Acts, or Genesis, Lance?
All right, this is going to be terrible, but I'm taking one for the team and taking off Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Thank you so much.
My man.
Finally. Okay, again. 5 bands or artists made it big around the world, including here in the U.S., but they all have a German relation to them. I think this is doable. It's not going to be the easiest one ever, but you might get Woods on it. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it at the end if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paul's going to play some music. You will recognize it. You just need to give me the title and the artist to score that point. Lance, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Finally. The category is Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Your time begins
I got half of mine to give Lance an extra
I
point.
know. The judging will be very generous here. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Lance. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
All right. Gabrielle Kerner is the real name of which artist best known for her 1983 German language hit 99 Luftballons, which she sang in English a year later?
Nina?
Correct. He's actually Austrian, but which artist had the only German language song ever to reach #1 on the U.S. charts with his 1985 hit Rock Me Amadeus?
Pass.
He wasn't born in Germany, but which American actor with a German-sounding name has had multiple musical hits in that country, including his Looking for Freedom, which reached #1?
Pass.
Considering the leading band in New Deutsch Hart Movement, or New German Hardness, which group has hits including Engel, Du hast, and Mein Tell?
Rammstein.
Correct! Let's go back to our 2-second song.
Yep. I'm going to have to pass on the
Pass on
rest.
that one.
I
Oh, you
don't-
got 2. You got 2. That's solid.
We're okay.
That is Winds of Change by the Scorpions, who are a German band, very popular here in the United States. You got Nina. Falco is Rock Me Amadeus. I can't believe you didn't get the Hoff. David Hasselhoff, who is unbelievably was one of the top German musical artists for a long time in like the 1980s and 90s. And you did get Rammstein, which is an old bit from our show from way back.
Rammstein.
But we've got Woods now gets his chance. Lance, stay on the line. I'm curious to see how Woods is going to do. I think he's going to get a couple of these, though. All right. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Lance.
Scorpions, Winds of Change.
Correct. Gabrielle Kerner is the real name of which artist, best known for her 1983 German-language hit 99 Luftballons, which she sang in English a year later?
Nina Cherry?
Nina.
Nina.
He's actually Austrian, but which artist had the
Right.
only German-language song ever to reach #1 on the U.S. charts with his 1985 hit Rock Me Amadeus?
Falco.
Correct. He wasn't born in Germany, which American actor with a German-sounding name has had multiple musical hits in that country, including his Looking for Freedom.
Oh, David Hasselhoff.
Correct. Considered the leading band of the New Deutsch Hart movement, or New German Hardness, which group has hits including Engel, Du Hast, and Meintel?
Rammstein.
Yeah, he got you, Lance. Lance, thank you for finally picking that
Du hast
category.
nicht.
That category was called Sprechen Sie Deutsch, and it has been sitting in our 3 categories for the better part of a month, I would say.
How many did he get?
August
He got 2.
5th.
Oh, I would have beat him anyway.
But you got him, even with the Nina. It's just
Cherry.
Nina.
Nina.
But, yeah, he got you, Lance. But thank you so much for... He said, I'll take one for the team.
Look at
And
him.
he actually took the category. So, you know what, Lance? Call back another day. We'll get you a prize of some sort just for taking that category. I really appreciate it.
I'll be doing it.
Yeah, the Scorpions
all
are
day.
German.
Oh,
I don't,
yeah.
no, does everyone know that?
Yes.
They do know that.
Yeah, their singer's name is Klaus Mein. And their guitar player
It's a
is
very German name.
Rudolf Schenker. They're phenomenal. I love the Scorpions. Listen to this. Down to Gorky Park. Not my favorite Scorpion song.
No.
But the whistle slays.
The one that I thought was most recognizable for a 2-second song. Though,
Yeah,
at the
I mean, you
beginning.
could have done Rock Me Like a Hurricane, No One Like You, so many.
All right, Don't Do This is coming up next. Now, hey, it's a team's prerogative when they're not going well to change their manager. But
Sure.
how that happens kind of makes a difference as well. We'll talk about the Scott Service story coming up next in Don't Do This after a check of traffic. Be right back. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. got to feel a little bad for Scott Service and how it all went down yesterday. It is time for Don't Do This. Woodsy, I'm sure you saw the story. There you are.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, who wants to?
Our
camera likes Ryan better than
Cohen
you.
better than me.
We get it.
I know he's young and handsome. I'm not. This was. Listen, Mariners decided to move on from Scott Service, which again, as you mentioned, that is their prerogative to do. They had a 10-game lead at one point. It has dwindled. They don't have the lead anymore. They are not playing good baseball. The offense is not clicking at all. So. Always needs to be a fall guy. It's usually the manager, and Scott Service was scheduled to get the axe yesterday, but they had an off day, and he told his players, "Hey guys, just clear your heads, get away from baseball," which is, that's a very standard thing to do. Go do whatever it is you want to do. Don't worry about it. Come on back and let's recharge, and come on back and let's win some ball games. So he had a press conference that he was supposed to do, and as he got to the press conference, I believe this is the timeline. Somebody asked him. It had come out already. That
he found out on a Ken Rosenthal
tweet.
Sources
report
2 hours before
the meeting.
The meeting with the general manager Jerry DiPoto, which is not a great way to be fired by finding out. Then that's on the Mariners.
That means, somebody told Ken Rosenthal.
Someone leaked it out before they let Scott Service know. And that's pretty rude. He had been around, I didn't realize this, 9 seasons with the Mariners. So not like a guy who's been managing for the last few months and now you let him go. He gave a decade of his life to the Seattle Mariners. And, it's been
there like
going
as long
poorly.
As Bud Black's been in Colorado.
Yep.
And to find out just on a tweet, on a scroll somewhere that you've been fired is a tough way to go out.
Yeah, man, it's not a good look, and he put out a really, really classy statement. He mentioned pretty much everyone in the organization but Jerry DiPoto. I mean, he literally mentioned ownership, mentioned the fans, mentioned the players, of course. Did not mention
DiPoto sucks.
Yeah,
man.
he's tough, dude. DiPoto is a really, really tough one.
I haven't followed that team much since I moved down here in 2009, but I grew up watching the Mariners, and it's just been a pretty tumultuous organization top to bottom for as long as I've been around, since 1990. Their ownership, just in it for the money. They could not care less about the product on the field. The GM has been horrible. I mean, what was the quote that he had? Was it last year?
He said,
"We're just trying to win
55%
55%.
Yeah, 55%.
Games, and then we're doing the fans a favor. It's like he's just not a good people person, as it turns out. And yeah, man, to find out that you're fired before you sit down with your boss to actually get fired, that's a rough one.
All right, I don't ever want to be accused of playing favorites on this show. If you make it to do this, you've deserved it, even if we liked you, even if we've had you on the show before, which we have, but had to report this week, San Diego Seals star forward Austin Stotts was arrested back in his hometown in Canada, according to a news report from the Turtle Island News. Stotts was arrested August 11th on 3 counts of assault. 3 counts of assault with choking, and 2 counts of threatening death or bodily harm. Details of the arrest not immediately known. Apparently, it occurred earlier this month in Brantford, Ontario. The NLL says they're aware of the reported charges against Austin Stotts. They're collecting more information. The Seals have tweeted out that they recognize the serious nature of the charges, taking it very seriously, but they're going to let the authorities complete their investigation. We will not have any comment at this time. You are a San Diego Seal. Do you have any comment at this time, Woods?
Yeah, I'm incredibly disappointed. Incredibly disappointed in Austin and his behavior, and it's been something that's been building for a while. He's a
young guy. He's a very young guy.
He's young. He's extremely emotional. He needs a lot of help. He's already suspended. He was already suspended before the ball dropped.
I hadn't realized this. So the last playoff game,
we were getting
went off on someone right at the end of the game when they lost.
We knew we were losing, and he went up and he did a check to this guy's face and knocked him out cold. I mean, and it was just completely unnecessary. He's an emotional guy. I know Austin very well. I took Austin to his very first baseball game ever at Petco Park, and it really broke my heart to see this. And for him, I'm not really worried about his lacrosse career with the Seals. I'm worried about him as a human. I know him. I know his brother. I met his mom. Like, I know the life that he's had. I know the background in which he came up, and it was not a good one at all. And I just want him to get the help emotionally that he needs, because he needs it. And I do love the kid, but yeah, there's no excuse for any of this that happens.
So tough. It's, again, like you just said, you're not making an excuse.
No.
But you see it when people, young adults, are a
it
product
feels very
of
much
their
like an
upbringing.
impulse control.
He has that
issue,
problem, man, and I just, there's some of that in when you watch him play, and you're like, it makes you a little uneasy, and it's like he's so fiery, he's so emotional, and obviously is having a hard time controlling that emotion, dude. So I hope the best for him. I don't know if he's going to be back in the in a SEALs uniform again. Maybe that's the best thing for him, but he definitely needs some help. I hope the league and the team stands behind him and at least gets him the help that he needs. Again, not to welcome him back, to go play forward for the SEALs, but just to be a productive member of society, because I know the kid, and this was a hard one for me, man. I hated this.
Woods, that was extremely well said. One of the things I like the best about you, you're not afraid to take and assign responsibility, but you also have empathy and understanding at the same time, and you care about people. And I think that was well handled from someone inside the organization.
Thank you. I love him, and I hope the best for him. But you gotta figure it out at some point. I feel the same about anybody. But this is speaking of beautiful message. Joey Votto.
DD mega doo-doo.
For doo-doo this today. They reporters circled around Joey yesterday. He kind of explained why he decided to retire, and this is pretty good stuff.
There were some big moments in Buffalo that I heard groans after outs. When I was playing for Louisville last year, groans or dissatisfaction after outs in big situations. This game's faster. I'm not fast. This game is about more dynamic defense. The game has changed over the course of the back maybe quarter of my career. I'm slower. I don't, and the one thing that I could attempt to do is, perform offensively, and I've been awful especially for my position. So at some point the writing's on the wall, and I'm good. There's no chess in this game whatsoever. This is a, heavyweight fight. This is I can't think of an analogy, but there's no tactics involved, limited tactics involved. And physical trumps everything. And, physical's not there for me. I'm a big fan of the UFC, and I watch fighters that retire at the right time and stay too long, and I hear the commentary from the commentary crowd, and I just think, I want to make sure I retire at the right time. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I retired too late, but yeah. And this game's changed my life. I've become a man in this sport. I've built so many bonds, and my character's changed, and I'm just so thankful to have had the opportunity. I am so humbled by where this game has taken me. I've done my part, of course, but the majority of it I've been carried by the sport, the fans, the staff, everyone involved. I've learned how to be a better person because of the media. Just so many different reasons, ways that the game has changed me as an individual.
I love that dude, man. And if you want to talk about a guy that should be a talking head, or you think about when you listen to a John Smoltz broadcast and how much he literally hates baseball. He just can't stand the way that baseball's played in the year 2024. Then you have Joey Votto. Take John Smoltz, let him go fish, hunt, do whatever he wants to do. Put Joey Votto in. That's what this game needs. This game needs more Joey Vottos. And I love John Smoltz, the pitcher. Oh, my God, did I love John Smoltz, the pitcher. Absolutely incredible. But to turn on broadcast these days and hear, back in my day, this new stuff sucks and blah, blah, blah. Joey Votto gets it. Joey Votto should be running baseball. Right? Like, he should be running baseball.
100%.
Well, what impressed me, and this applies to any field that you're in, Joey Votto clearly has a lot of self-awareness.
Yes.
But without it being crippling to himself. He thinks a lot about, his place in the game and where he was in the sport, and he made a very rational decision that it was time. He could have tried to hang on for a little bit longer if he wanted, but he just realized, that's probably not the best decision for me anymore. And he decided to call it quits. And we'll see him in 5 years or so in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
Love him.
That's Don't and Do This for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, a little bit annoying at this point. Obviously, the LA Dodgers are getting healthier. And with that, they have to make a lot of these decisions on their roster. That
cold business, isn't it?
Yeah,
Holy
it's a
cow.
tough one. But that also means there are some players available from the Dodgers over the last few days at playoff contenders might be interested in. We'll talk about the move the Dodgers made yesterday and whether any Padres fans want to kick the tires.
When is Nate Eovaldi and Kirby Yates and all? When is that Rangers fire sale happening? Because I'd be interested in one of those estate sales from the Texas Rangers. Haven't heard anything about that since last week.
We'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Ben Woods going until 10 o'clock today, and we'll turn things over to Annie and Elston, and they got a big name coming up in their first hour. New San Diego Wave interim head coach Landon Donovan going to be on with Annie and Elston at 10:30 today, and then this afternoon, Quinn and Chris on a FRIAR Friday. Jason Adam is going to join the program at 2:20, and of course, we've got the skipper, Mike Shildt, the manager's report, coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Now, will we see any more moves by the San Diego Padres today, pitching-wise or otherwise? Talk about a name that is hitting the open market today after a move by the Dodgers. We'll do that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, we're in pretty good shape right now. No incidents or accidents. Seeing some of the usual slowing in the usual spots, but at least nothing getting in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
What'd you say? Heartless business sometimes?
Cold as ice, dude.
Yeah, the LA Dodgers, they've had some roster crunch decisions lately.
Yeah.
With all their injuries, they put some guys on the 60-day injured list, which means when they bring them back, they have to find a 40-man roster spot for them, which generally means someone has to be DFA'd. And it's led to some tougher, they picked up, Ahmed Rosario, and then they had to DFA him. Well, yesterday it was Jason Hayward's turn. And the reason why it's a tough business is that Jason Hayward's last at-bat was a go-ahead tie-breaking 3-run home run on Tuesday against the Seattle Mariners.
Alphonse Munoz
in the eighth
just
inning.
in the eighth inning. I mean,
Dave Roberts called it one of the, if not the best moment of the season for the LA Dodgers. And Jason Hayward's reward was your walking papers 2 days later. Ouch.
that is ice cold.
They were bringing back Chris Taylor, who has been activated and returned. What that means, though, is now Jason Hayward, who has not particularly had a great season, but is a veteran, experienced outfielder with pop, is now available on the waiver wire for teams to pick up. And almost certainly someone's going to pick him up, I would think, Woods. It's the prorated. I think he was making like 9, but that's down to like 2 for the last month and a half of the season, if that. If you want to pick him up, someone's going to get him.
He's batting 208, OBP at 289, 393 slug.
Just hit a 3-run home run, though.
Well, right, but guys hit 3-run homers and doesn't. I don't want him here. I don't want Jason Hayward here. Fernando's supposed to be back. I'll roll with Peralta and Johnson.
Had this been a month and a half ago,
potentially,
you might have thought about it as opposed to going with Bryce Johnson, so many times in the outfield at this point.
I think it was last Sunday that Kimmy got hurt, and we had just finished the Tier 1 game, and I looked at my phone, and I said, well, you got to get Ahmed Rosario. He'd be a nice little stopgap, and the Reds had already claimed him, so I'm imagining, look, I saw a lot of Braves fans online yesterday going, ooh, could we get the return of Jason Hayward? They've been decimated by injury as well. I don't know where he fits. I don't think necessarily he fits here.
Well, and David Peralta's been hot. Even last night, another 2 for 3. Yep. He's got a 1,057 OPS over his last 14 games. So David Peralta is hitting like an all-star right now. You're not going to want to take him out of the lineup in favor of Jason Hayward.
Yeah,
so I just don't think makes much sense right now for the Padres.
If you don't like David Peralta's range, you really don't want to see what Jason Hayward's range looks like. I'm literally looking. It's 1. It's 1.
It's A1. It's the slider
1.
is 1.
Outs above average. 1.
Well, it's not negative at least.
It's 1.
1 is not bad.
It's all like light blue. The whole thing is
the sliders.
All of his sliders.
1%. He's in the 1 percentile. Okay, that's horrible.
What I mean.
That's horrible.
His arm strength is really good. Still has a cannon. Maybe he can pitch. But no, he's not somebody I think that the San Diego Padres need to invest in, which means they probably will by the end of the day because I don't know anything and nobody does. But,
I doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised if another team took a flyer.
Sure.
Maybe the Braves, like you said, on Jason Hayward for this last month plus of the season. If he is picked up, they have 7 days, I think, to claim him. If he is picked up before September 1st, he would be eligible for the postseason rosters. That is a deadline that is coming up.
What's the deadline?
September 1st. You got to be on the team before September, end of August, if you want to be eligible for a playoff team. Not that there's, now that there's no non-waiver trade deadline, there's not generally a lot of players who are available, but we've seen, just this week, the Braves picked up Gio Urshela And he's already, playing for them with all the injuries. He would be eligible for the postseason for them. Anyone who picks up Jason Hayward, they'd be eligible. Who did the Reds? Reds got Rosario, right? They picked him up. I don't think they're going to the playoffs, but if they made a run, he would be eligible for them. So you got this last week here. If there's any changes you want to make and you see someone out there that you want to grab that's just dangling around as a free agent at this point, this is your last chance to do so and have it impact your postseason roster.
Yeah, we were, and we were told Chris Young himself, I think, said it. We're gonna have to, DFA some of these guys here pretty soon. And Nate Eovaldi was one of the rumored guys to be DFA'd, and Kirby Yates and David Robertson. I mean,
that would just be a money saving.
That's a money saving thing. But those are three arms right now that could help a contender. And you think about a team like Baltimore that just is dying at the back end, searching desperately for outs. You think about the San Diego Padres, who would absolutely use a starter like Nate Eovaldi in a heartbeat. And I don't know where they would fall on the order of picking, but I just don't think a Nate Eovaldi would fall to the San Diego Padres. So if they do end up doing that, somebody's going to
I saw somewhere, and I didn't realize this because I knew it goes in reverse order of record. Right. So the better you are, the later you pick. But apparently if it's an American League DFA, it goes first through the American League, then through the National League. So someone like Eovaldi, the Padres would be near the back of the list, like 26th or something in terms of choices. With Hayward, they'll be a little higher on the list because it's National League. But again, I don't think there'd be any interest right now in adding him.
Good question by Tyler. He says, does that rule count towards Yu Darvish? Would he need to be reinstated before September to make our playoff roster? Really?
No. On the restricted list, no, he's on the Padres. He's not on the Padres.
That's true. So
he's not on the 40-man.
So he's not on the 40-man. You have to take him off the 40-man when he goes unrestricted?
I don't think he counts against the 40-man. There's some gray area there. Maybe we can try to get
I don't see
clarification. I would imagine that whatever the rule is, the Padres will be aware of it, and they will respond accordingly. They're not going to get caught off guard by that.
But feasibly, if he, because we know he's been throwing. We know that. We know he's been throwing here. We know he's local. If he said, could he be announced as the game one starter? You know what I mean?
There's a 50-50 chance that he could come back and pitch for the playoffs if you had to just make a move. Fine by me.
Yeah, right.
See you later, so-and-so.
Yeah, I don't know.
The prospect of a Yu Darvish, who's, by the way, extremely well-rested heading into the postseason.
Yes.
Terrifying if it works out. Love the idea, but I don't know how that works.
Here it is. In a typical season, any player who's on the 40-man roster or 60-day injured list as of 11/59 on August 31st is eligible for the postseason. Those that are on the restricted list at that point are also eligible if they haven't been suspended for PEDs during that season.
All right, so he would be eligible even if he's back in September. Anytime he comes back, he's a Padre, he'd be eligible for the postseason. Now, I think there is a question with Yu Darvish that, and again, not going to speculate on why he's out or when he's going to come back. But at some point, you can't just say on September 28th, okay, you're back. He needs some ramp up. I mean, you need to be able to know that he's Yu Darvish when he comes back.
That guy's got 15 years of ramp up.
He does.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't even think twice about it.
But this is an unusual situation, really without much precedent in a guy who's getting healthier. I mean, he was hurt when he went on the restricted list, but he's getting healthier now. But where is he on that process? He's not meeting with trainers daily.
We don't know that.
The Padres, he can't. He's on the restricted list, so
he can't do it.
He can't be.
He could be meeting with his own
He
trainers.
may. I'm sure he is, taking care of himself. But
he's not sitting at home playing college football.
But the Padres will need at least. What I'm saying is they're going to need at least some time to evaluate where Yu Darvish is back. When he says, "I'm ready, take me off the restricted list,"
aren't there guys?
There's going to be some sort of physical, mental pitching evaluation process. He doesn't just start day one when he comes back, right? You have a lot of faith in Yu Darvish just being ready to go.
Well, I mean, if there's one guy, if there's one guy on the planet that says,
I think it can be a minimal amount of time for Yu Darvish, but it's not no time at all. There has to be some sort of ramp up against live pitching, live major league hitters or at least minor league hitters. Something has to happen.
If he tells you on
before
September 27th,
you're ready to pitch him September 28th.
Here's the ball. Let's see what you got. You know what I mean? I trust you, Darvish, 14, 15, 16-year veteran in this league, guy that knows his arm, takes care of his body. If he says, I would absolutely trust him.
I think I would too. And again, fine.
And he's getting the ball in the playoffs.
You want to send him to Peoria to face minor leaguers? Fine. If that's going to make you feel better. But he is just kind of one of those guys.
And this is, again, just speculation. And out of respect to you, we've really avoided just idle speculation about it. I do think that because he's been seen throwing around town, he has to expect that there will be some people who comment on that, and there has to be a bit of a response, just okay, it certainly seems like it's a possibility. Padres have never denied that it's a possibility that he could come back. They've never counted on the fact that he will come back. That's how I've kind of approached it the rest of the season as well.
Well, and Janine said in the chat that, the fact that we're hearing that he's been throwing around town is getting everyone's hopes up. Yeah, absolutely. My hopes are up. And I don't know. I don't think I'll be disappointed if he doesn't. Not in him. I'll be disappointed, but I won't be disappointed in him because I don't know what he's going through, but whatever it is, it's pretty serious. So the fact that he's out there throwing, hell yeah, it gets my hopes up. I want you Darvish back. I think you Darvish would help.
Bro, seeing Tatis running on the field yesterday,
that gets your hopes
getting
up.
the updates that they're loosening up the timetable for his return.
Right.
I start thinking about that, and I think about getting a healthy, rested you Darvish possibly in September, and I go, oh, it's happening. I'm getting excited.
So Satan's Blowfish says a player who doesn't meet said criteria. Wait. It's not a clean add to the roster. There are other stipulations. Player who doesn't meet said criteria for postseason eligibility can still be added via petition to the commissioner's office. If the player was in the organization on August 31st and was replacing someone who was on the injured list and served the minimum amount of time required for activation, if there's no one injured for an appropriate amount of time, they still can't add him.
Stephen Woods reads stereo instructions at 7:53 on
unless he's back by
97.3 The Fan.
Unless he's back by August 31st. Oh boy. All right.
But you can petition. Is
petition.
there a precedent for whether they usually say yes or no on those petitions? Is it an actual petition? Do we need to be signing things at Petco Park to bring you Darvish back?
No, I just think
a campaign going on change.org.
Yeah.
I would love that news to break.
And again, I've seen people upset you shouldn't be doing this in public and getting people's hopes up. He can't go do it at Petco Park. It's hard. He's you Darvish. You're going to notice a 6'5" Japanese man throwing off a mound somewhere. He's not really going to be able to hide it if he wants to throw, and he's in San Diego. So what do you want the man to do? He's very recognizable. He's very distinctive when he goes out there. There's no mistaking. Could that be you Darvish out there? It might be, it might not be. No, it's obvious. Everybody recognizes you Darvish.
Padres shorts. He's on a mound at some high school, and he's throwing about 14 different pitches.
Yeah. Could be. Could just be a guy who looks a lot like you Darvish. No, it's you Darvish if you see him out there. So
great to have.
You have mini Darvish.
It'd be great. Mini Darvish is fantastic. But it'd be great to have him back. But I'm not counting on it.
All right, we'll come back. Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue will join us for their regular Friday segment. More baseball talk on the way. Managers report in just over an hour. It's Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away.
All right, we're halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Ryan Cohen is in today. Padres superfan hanging out with us. He's going to a wedding this weekend. Wanted to wish congratulations to Connor and Kennedy, who are going to be tying the knot. We're all married men. Any words of wisdom for the couple to be? You know, you have to fall in love every day. That's what Hannah and I do. Every day, you have to fall in love every day. I'm so full of S. You got to get through it, man.
Legally obligated to get lucky every night.
Yeah, that's it. Actually,
look forward to that.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
I always say that patience is always a good thing in any relationship, whether it be marital or radio. Patience is always a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Try to stay calm.
Our next guest is getting married here soon, I think.
I believe he is. Let's go out and check in with our friend Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue and Yahoo Sports, our weekly segment brought to you by Grand Old Barbecue. Jake, looking good. And yes, he's got his bachelor party beach blowout hat on. So the bachelor party is done. That means the wedding is next.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm 3 weeks out. It's, I guess, 2 weeks out. It's the pennant race. And I'm amped.
When's your wedding? When's your wedding? 2 weeks. So let me tell you.
September 9th. So I'll be unavailable to hop on this time in a fortnight from now. Just putting it out there.
Well, all right. So this is my question to you, right? Like, you're like the world's biggest baseball fan, and your wife
September, an interesting choice.
Your bride
to
be says, and I'm fully thinking that she picked the date because let's be honest, they get to choose everything. And
you wanted it to be done before the playoffs, though.
Was that what it was?
Bingo.
Okay, that makes sense.
You guys are not familiar with this as West Coasters, but it does get cold after the baseball season.
What, a mid-November wedding doesn't sound that appealing?
November 17th.
Yeah,
an outdoor wedding in New York.
January 24th was not exactly a date we had circled. And so your options are then limited in the East Coast because another thing we have here you're not unfamiliar with is called humidity. And so doing it in the heat of the summer was also unappealing. Very little options for us East Coasters. So, September 8th, getting married and doing the honeymoon in the winter.
Well, that's why you do a destination wedding in San Diego.
That's
you
right.
don't have to worry about that. Literally, any day of the year.
When did you get married, Woods?
I got married, oh, God.
I got married in February.
When did I get married?
It was beautiful. Gorgeous in San Diego in February.
I got married in May, and I remember that because I'm not a monster.
Well, we have 2 anniversaries.
I know. You celebrate the day you met instead of the day you got married.
I'm not joking when I tell you. Hold on.
Someone in the chat, please tell Woods when he got married.
The one we celebrate is the day we met, 2/4/14. I don't remember our wedding date. Sue me. I really don't. I'm blanking.
I won't sue you for that. But
you're a dead
I know
man.
someone who might.
Oh, I'm dead.
You're dead.
When did I get married?
Someone in the chat must know when Woods got married. I mean, none of us attended your wedding, so we don't know.
No, it was me, my wife, and a prison minister, and my mother-in-law. That's it.
Now, the wedding was not in the prison.
When is our anniversary?
You weren't required to use the prison minister. That was a choice.
I'm panicking. I'm not joking when I say this. I am full on panicking. I want to say maybe September 22nd. Yeah, Jake's
all right. Well,
still
you
here.
look that up. Now let me ask you about a phenomenon that I've almost become inured to it. Aaron Judge homers every single day.
Every day.
And I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I'm just assuming he homered again. And what he's really doing, I mean, put it in context for us, kind of historically, the kind of season that he's having, Jake.
Well, let me just quickly talk about the visceral experience of watching Aaron Judge regularly as an East Coast elitist who sits at Yankee Stadium regularly. So, you guys watching any of the Little League World Series? I don't know if you are.
Yeah,
but
a little
every
bit.
team seems to have a child who's too big for the field, if not more, where they make contact with the ball and you're like, that's a pop out. And then they turn the camera and it's over the fence.
Yeah.
That's Aaron Judge, except it's the major leagues. He had an opposite field home run yesterday that looked like a foul ball, and then it was just 10 rows back. You're right. We have become numb to his greatness. He is having a better season than he did in 2022 when he won the MVP. He's walking more, striking out less. His batting average is higher. He's on pace for basically the same amount of home runs. He is, until Shohei Ohtani picks up a baseball again and throws it hard, the best player in the world.
We actually have a tier 1. Luke Ramirez, great guy. 2009, he led Parkview Little League to the World Series. I covered him while he was there. He was obviously a little bit more mature than some of the other players at that time and was a media sensation and home runs and pitching and everything. Luke's great, and he's been in studio here with us before, and love Luke, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
We had Luke on our old podcast.
Oh, nice.
Luke is an OG. I like that guy a bit, a whole lot, but like he was just too big, right? He was too big.
Yeah.
And like that is the phenomenon that we're now watching with Aaron Judge.
It's truly crazy. It's that Bonds-esque run where it's like, oh, you may only get, a pitch to hit a game and you just don't miss it. It's insane to watch. And like Ben said, kind of like watching Manny play defense sometimes. You're like, there's another one. You know what I mean? Like we take it for granted, and I don't think we should. Talking to Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue here on Ben and Woods this morning. My anniversary, by the way, is 9/22. I've just figured that out. So in case anyone, it's right around the corner.
Yes, it's coming up next month.
Well prepared.
Super prepared. Let's talk a little bit about, we're obviously just mired, Jake, in the West over here. I want to talk a little bit about the East. I know Ben was just talking about Aaron Judge, your Baltimore Orioles, needing a little help maybe at the back end of the bullpen. They thought that they found it in Sir Anthony. It hasn't gone exactly well. Where's your heartbeat on the Orioles right now?
I am always hesitant to critique front offices for the decisions that they make because they are working with so much more information than we have.
Sure.
Right? Always. However, what the Orioles did at the deadline, I thought was a half measure for a team that needed a full measure. Now, you folks out in San Diego don't even know what a half measure is because your general manager does 1.5 measures all the time.
2 measures.
Too many measures, probably,
yeah,
in fact.
Probably.
The Orioles going out and getting Sir Anthony Dominguez and Gregory Soto for the bullpen was an upside play, right? 2 relievers who have had success in the past with the Phillies, Soto also with the Tigers. The Orioles hoped that with a couple tweaks, they could get them purring again, use them in the back end of the bullpen. That has not been the case. Dominguez was solid, allowed 2 walk-off home runs this week to the Mets, and I believe Soto's ERA is over 12 right now for the Orioles. Okay? What that team needed was not a could, but a will, right? Not someone who could be beneficial, someone who will be helpful. And what is frustrating, someone who covers the Orioles, is to see them spend some prospect capital to go get a guy like Trevor Rogers for the back end of the rotation who has team control instead of going and getting Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott, who is the exact type of piece that would fit into the Orioles bullpen, who has been very good so far for the San Diego Padres, who was once a Baltimore Oriole. And I just don't think the Orioles did enough at the deadline to supplement a very talented roster, and it just feels like something of a missed opportunity.
To be fair, last year the Padres kind of half measured with Rich Hill and G-Man Choi, and it did not work out very well.
It did not, but that turned out to be the right decision, right?
Yeah. Well,
I think about
they
finished
2 games out of the playoff spot.
We'll
never know if it was the right or the wrong decision.
I think about the Yankees deadline last year where they were like kind of close, and you could tell by the way the front office acted was insight into how they felt about their own team. They're basically like, this team that we have right now is not worth supplementing. They're not good enough to win a World Series or to make the playoffs that it's worth making that risk. The Orioles are not that. They're not that right now. Yes, they've been besieged by injuries, but that you guys saw them. I mean, they're a talented group. The hitters are legit. And so I think it's just something of a missed opportunity to not go out and make this team better.
Talking to Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue, brought to you by Grand Ole Barbecue. And I want to ask you a philosophical question, Jake, about baseball. And that's the different, an organization, and I'll bring up the Pittsburgh Steelers from football as an example, are always lauded for their patience and consistency, rarely changing coaches. And sometimes you see that in baseball, like the Angels decided they're going to go with Perry Manassian as their GM, giving him a 2-year extension with no tangible results on the field to do so. But they're going to say, we believe in consistency and giving a guy time over just, hey, it's not working 2 years, fire him, go to the next guy. Never really works, but then again, it's hard to stick with something that isn't working as well and sell that to your fan base.
Can I say something I don't believe?
Yeah.
Sure. I do it all the time.
What's the difference between the Angels and the Padres besides one exhilarating postseason run? I don't believe that. I just said it, but I'm saying like,
we've made the comp.
Yeah, AJ Preller has gotten far more chances than other GMs in similar situations.
And to be clear, this team right now is good. AJ's done a good job with this roster. I think AJ's a good GM. But what I'm saying, the point that I'm trying to make here, right, is continuity in and of itself is not necessarily always beneficial, right? I do think that in this case for the Angels, who have had so much organizational turnover under Artie Moreno, who is just a total bad owner, that having some consistency there is really good. And I do think that in some ways having Preller around for so long has been a good thing for the Padres. But I just think for the Angels, I like this move. It doesn't really move the needle for me, though, in any way for them, because as long as Artie Moreno is running the show, Perry Minasian is going to be generally managing with one hand behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And it's very fair to say we don't know everything. You know, you look at it in a vacuum and you go, well, that's the GM that had a generational superstar. Not only did he let him get away, which is ownership, but he also kept him and didn't get anything back for him, which, let's be honest, was probably ownership at that point because Shohei still, would put asses in the seats in Anaheim when he was still there. And but, yeah, if you look at it in a vacuum and say, well, that's your claim to fame. You let Shohei Ohtani get away, and you didn't get anything back for him. That's kind of a tough look.
Yeah, it's hard to judge though. That organization is just so complicated and weird, and all the Ohtani stuff is just operating above the head of a GM.
Yeah,
right. Where I like Perry. I think he's solid. The results have certainly not been there on the field. The Angels, I think, have the 23rd best record in the league during his tenure.
Wow.
Not exactly encouraging. They have not made the playoffs since 2014. There is an exciting young core group of guys.
There is, yeah.
That they have. But exciting is one thing, good is another.
Yep.
Your favorite Joey Votto factoid, story, anything you've encountered in your baseball life, Jake?
My favorite nugget is that his mom is a sommelier.
Really?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Knows her wine,
which
huh?
has nothing to do about him. There was some story I was told. I can't remember what it was. But basically, like, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think he admitted to someone that he's like a big Dungeons and Dragons guy on first base. They were just like he made like a Dungeons and Dragons reference, and some players like, wait, you're DOD too?
He's probably also lying because he likes to make up stories.
he's-
Like, not
Oh,
lying, but
dude,
he's like a bit master.
This was in the Athletic oral history. It's so funny. We was talking about Stephen Piscotty, and he in the piece, it's like, yeah, I was giving Piscotty crap while he was on first base, and then I asked him why he was an engineer and a flat earther, and then it's like Athletic editor's note. We reached out to Stephen Piscotty, who says he believes the Earth is round and was confused what Joey was referring to.
He did it to us. He messed with us
Yeah,
too.
he got us 2 years ago.
Yeah, he did. He told us a fake story.
Yeah, we asked him about Brandon Drury, his former teammate who had just been traded to the Padres. Went on and on about Brandon Drury's quirks and habits, and so
He was like, "Oh, this guy's a lunatic,
Yeah.
man. I let him borrow my bat, and he wouldn't give it back, or
and it
something."
just went
like
on
that.
this whole story, and then so we're talking
And
about
Drury's
it. For,
like the most normal.
he's
player.
boring. He's actually very boring. And then we get to the park, and Brandon Drury's like, what's going on with these guys? And we come find out. Yeah, none of what Joey Votto told you was true at all. He made all of that up in his conversation with you. And it's like, oh.
We love a player who loves a bit. But I'll say this about Votto, and then I'll let you guys go. I guess you'll let me go.
Yeah, we'll let you go.
Yeah, it's your show. Very rarely does a player mean that much to a place. And what I admire the most about Joey Votto is that he left both the Reds organization and baseball in a better place than when he found it, and treated people with kindness and care, and was thoroughly interesting. Every time he opened his mouth, baseball players often don't say many compelling things because they're asked to speak all the time. When Votto opened his mouth, you listened always. And that level of insight is very rare. And I'm thankful that I was around to experience him as a major leaguer and as a public person.
All right, that's it. That's it for us. Jake Mintz will take you the rest of the way
Yeah,
until
take
10 o'clock.
till 10 o'clock.
Annie and Elston take over. It's good to see everybody. Jake, enjoy.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for letting us go.
Thank you, buddy. Good luck. Have fun at your bachelor party.
I'm the captain now.
You already had the bachelor party. Good luck with the marriage and the wedding. Yeah.
August 24th.
Good luck with the
is it
marriage.
Tomorrow.
I thought it was last. I thought they were all
tomorrow.
last week when Jake was there. Or when
that was
when
somebody else's.
Jordan was there. Oh, that was a different one.
Hey, good luck to you on the marriage, Mister. Forgot my
Thank
anniversary.
you. Appreciate it. I'm used to it. I live in the doghouse. It's fine. Thanks, buddy.
There you
Appreciate
go. This is Jake Mintz.
See you, Jake.
Cespedes Family Barbecue. And, of course, every week, that segment brought to you by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue, North Park, Flynn Springs, at the ballpark. You can get some tonight. Woods had brisket last time he was at the
I had
park.
pulled pork.
Oh, yeah, pulled pork.
Yeah.
Just as good.
So good.
Both delicious. I saw, who was it? Maybe Bobby Cressy was posting brisket pictures. Someone was posting brisket pictures from Grand Ole recently. Makes me want to get back out there very quickly.
I'm with you.
I'm hungry.
All right.
All right, we'll take a time out. Paulie's got a Reindl Report coming up with headlines. We'll do that before Mike Shildt joins us at the top of the hour with the Manager's Report. All coming up here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away. This hour on Bennett Woods is brought to you by Floor and Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor and Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor and Decor. Floor and Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. So the reason Paul Reindl has the title of executive producer is that he's an idea man.
Yes.
And he said, we've told that Brandon Drury, Joey Votto story now twice this week since Joey announced his retirement. I have the audio. Would you like to play that for people who might not have been listening two years ago?
Collected 1 or 2 new listeners in the last 2 years.
Even though it's not a Throwback Thursday, it is Friday.
Flashback Friday.
Flashback Friday. We're going to go back probably 2 years right around now would be my guess.
September 23rd.
Yeah, so 2 years and 1 month minus 1 month when we had Joey Votto. Random. It was random, too. It's like Paul just reached out and Red said, sure, let's put Joey Votto on in the San Diego radio station.
It was like at 9:45, like right at the end of our show. And I think I reached out. I was like, we weren't playing the Reds, nothing like that.
Nope,
I said,
he was hurt.
Super random request here, but we're a baseball-centric show in San Diego. He's on our bucket list of interviews, and they're like, yeah, he's in.
It's insane.
And so, this was September 23rd, and Woods starts by asking him a question about one of his former teammates.
It's been crazy. The trade deadline comes, and one of your former teammates, Brandon Drury, now here and, hits a grand slam in his first AB. It's just incredible. Just been incredible to cover and watch every single game.
No doubt. And boy, what a weirdo you guys got.
Did we? Did we?
Oh, now we need to know more about Brandon Drury. None of this is true. He's been kind of quiet since he got here.
Quiet. Oh man, he must. So it sounds like he turned the volume up. He went from completely like sucking in noise to like quiet. It's like a black hole with us. It's funny. I'll tell you a story. And so he occasionally wears his eye patch for like this vision drill, and it helps him. He needs it. And so one day I go, can I wear the eye patch? And so I put the eye patch on, and like he said, you have to do these specific drills and wear it for X amount of time. And that day, I actually have a picture of it, and I'm not going to post it or anything like that because I don't think that's a good idea. But
probably doesn't exist.
I ended up homering that day, and so we get done with the game, and I go, hey, dude, you think I can wear that eye patch tomorrow? And he's like, no, you're not allowed to wear it anymore. It's my eye patch.
Oh, my God.
You only get one day.
That's amazing.
And then, he goes, sorry, man, you got to put in your own work around here, homie.
Oh, my God. Right back in your face. That part was made up. That never happened.
The eye patch existed.
The eye patch.
The rest of that was made up.
And the drills existed. But he never went back and said, can I get that again? And Drury said, no, homie, you have to put in your own work around here.
Yeah, because it was probably within the next week. We were down at Petco Park.
And he got mad.
And he kind of just like walked by and was like, gave us the stink eye.
And we asked Annie Halberd, why is he mad at
hey,
us?
do you know, is he?
She goes, oh, yeah, he's pissed.
She was like, yeah, I think he's a little upset about that Joey Votto. We're like, what? He goes, yeah. And he walked back over and he goes, it wasn't true.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, God.
I mean,
oh, my
it's
God.
Also weird. People get upset at us about segments that they don't actually listen to, which is always my favorite. And by the way, Brandon, we didn't tell that story. Joey Votto. You want to be mad at somebody? Go be mad at Joey Votto.
Can't be mad at Joey Votto, though.
Right. So he gets mad at us.
Obviously, he gets mad at us.
Obviously our fault.
It's obviously our fault. That happens to us all the time. I heard you guys said something. Well, did you listen? Well, no. Well, then what are you crying about? Go listen to the segment, and then you make your own judgments on it. Good Lord.
People are listening, though. I think the national media is listening to the roundtable yesterday.
Why's that?
Well, remember when I asked the question, what's our draft? What's the Padres' biggest strength?
Yeah.
What was your answer?
I think it was chemistry, chemistry. Vibe.
I said depth. But David Schoenfield in ESPN this morning has come out with the biggest strength of each playoff contender in baseball. And his answer for the San Diego Padres, current playoff odds 95.8%, is hitting for average contact ability, which I think was Craig's answer,
Think
maybe,
so, yeah.
during the roundtable yesterday. He said, I was tempted to go with bullpen here, and no doubt A.J. Preller did a terrific job at the deadline in setting up the Padres bullpen, but he said, let's go with an old school statistic. Batting average. Padres lead the majors with a 265 average while also recording the lowest strikeout rate in the majors, 17.5%. They're ahead of the Royals, Astros, Guardians, and Diamondbacks in that category. Now, here's what caught my eye in this little nugget from David Schoenfield. Of the last 7 World Series champions, 5 of them were top 5 in lowest strikeout percentage in baseball. Pretty direct correlation to teams that have had success, especially in the postseason, that don't strike out a lot. Now, they're coming off a game. I think they struck out more last night than they have in quite a while facing Luis Severino. But the long
credit him with some nasty
But the
pitches.
long-term trend is that the Padres put the ball in play and make contact. And apparently that seems to be, and I can understand why. You know, in the playoffs, you're facing nasty arms. You see tons of 8, 9 strikeout games in the playoffs, big stage. Teams that put the ball in play in the playoffs allow good things to then happen. You know, you put pressure on the defense, pressure in an already pressure-packed situation where mistakes are often magnified in the postseason tenfold, and you're making the other team in a position where they can make more mistakes than you. So that low strikeout rate has directly correlated to a lot of success. The 22 Astros were second in baseball in strikeout rate. The 2020 Dodgers doesn't count, but they were third in baseball. The 2019 Nationals fifth in baseball. The 2018 Red Sox third, and the 27 Astros best in baseball with the lowest strikeout rate. So a potential advantage, strength for the Padres as they head hopefully toward the postseason in October.
Yeah, I mean, I like the percentage of our chances to make it. You know, I mean, the fact that there's the 8% chance you don't, it lingers.
I mean,
it's going to linger.
According to this, 4.2% chance that the Padres don't make the playoffs.
Right, 4%. Yeah, wow.
Seems like a really low number to get worried about at this point.
Maybe let's just not talk about it anymore.
We're all worried. We're all worried about 4%, aren't we?
Yeah.
Extremely worried about 4%.
Of course, we're humans. Of course. You won't feel good until it's clinched, and done. And once that day happens, time to celebrate. And then you got to get back down to business again. Try to figure out how to advance, depending on where you're seated and all that mess. So, yeah, man, it's the fact that 4% exists. If you told me, Woodsy, you have a 4% chance of dying today, I'm going to be worried.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to be worried.
I mean, I guess it's
you have 4%.
The dramatic consequences of the 4% outweigh the smallness of the 4%.
100%.
Missing the playoffs would be a disaster. 4% chance of a disaster.
You will have to commit me. You got to take a week off. Holy cow.
Right. I did not jinx back-to-back losses.
Yeah,
I said they
did.
will lose back-to-back games.
No,
my prediction came true
really
yesterday that the Padres would, in fact, lose back-to-back games in the second half of the season.
It was.
Everyone was so excited to say, "Oh, Ben, you were wrong. I told you they were going to lose. It was eventually going to happen."
Ray, you're right. You're right. He did. With his big new bit.
When I tweeted last
back-to-back.
week that they hadn't lost back-to-back games.
Yep.
It's the old 8-day later
That's right.
jinx.
Yeah, and here we go.
Don't think that's how it works.
Look at us
Hope
now.
you're happy.
Yeah, hope you're happy. Back-to-back losses. Finally, as you wanted. And been
Want to
begging
go for 3 in a row? Would that make you feel better?
Prefer not to, actually.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, we'll come back. Paulie will get some headlines for us in the Reindl Report, and then Mike Shildt at the top of the hour with the Manager's Report. Lots of reports on this show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Report sting.
Just wanted to confirm. Do you know who else in Major League Baseball has lost back-to-back games since the All-Star break?
A lot of them.
Every single team.
I was like, wait, is this a trick question?
Every single team in baseball. And I think most of them have done it multiple times, if not 3 or 4 times at least, lost back-to-back games since the All-Star break. So now the Padres have as well. They've joined a club of 30 teams that have lost back-to-back games since the All-Star break. Now, if that is the sign of impending disaster, then you have 30 teams careening toward the edge of the cliff, and we may have no World Series champion this year.
Ray said, well, we could have been different. Yeah, you're right, Ray. And Ben was assuring us that we were. We hadn't lost back-to-backs
You
yet.
also, if you want to look at the standings since the All-Star break, you'll still find the Padres right on top. So are they the hottest team in baseball, or are they the colder team in baseball right now?
Yeah, Ben, today I learned Ben jinxed every team.
I did.
So yeah, you are. I get a lot of people give me a lot of credit for having a lot of power. You actually have a lot of power.
There's a lot of math involved here because every single day in which you have a full schedule, 15 teams lose.
Right.
Every single day.
Every day.
So then the next day you have 15 teams that are eligible to lose back-to-back games.
That's right.
Before too long, it's going to happen to every single one of them. Every single time. Math is undefeated in Major League Baseball.
Oh, it always is.
You just cannot avoid the fact you are going to lose some series. You are going to lose some back-to-back games in a Major League Baseball season. And it happened to the Padres.
It did.
Now they have to move on from there and try to start a new winning streak today. All right, we will get to some headlines and the Reindl Report right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a collision in Balboa Park, South 163 before Park Boulevard. It's over the right shoulder. Also stalled vehicle over the right shoulder on northbound 805, right at the northbound 15 connector. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul. All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
Ben just got dragged in the chat. This is absolutely incredible. Janine, who will slit your throat with her words. She's done it many, many times. She says, remember when Math was defeated last year? Huge run differential with a losing record, 0-12 in extra innings.
You're great, Janine. Yeah, Math was kind of defeated last year, which is why I was obsessed with it.
Yes.
It was like the one time Math was defeated.
He couldn't wrap
I couldn't wrap my head around
all
it.
year long.
Insane.
My
world is built on the fact that Math is undefeated, and somehow last year's Padres defeated Math.
It was like Goodwill Hunting in here last year with him. It was nuts. She's an assassin. Oh, man. She terrifies me to no end. I see her on Twitter.
I don't want to be on the other end of the wrath.
I don't know who Mr. Janine is, but I tip my hat to you, sir, because, man, she will get you, dude. And she just got you real good. Go ahead, Paul.
Suck it, Ben. All right. Got a couple of different clips here. Actually, every story is going to have some audio or video to it. So we will start. I have no idea what was happening here. Woodsy, you sent this over the other day. We never got to it. Brian Kelly.
Oh.
Which is all I need to say.
Yeah, this is great.
Brian Kelly, man, what a jokester. I don't know what's going on here. Of course, Brian Kelly.
He didn't go on vacation to Jamaica or something, did he?
Him on. Oh, no.
Boston native Brian Kelly. Of course, makes
just comes back, just getting everyone.
Right, that's Brian Kelly right there.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited.
It's maybe the best audio we've ever found. Maybe.
That's not how you talk, dude.
You don't
What are
talk
you
that
doing?
way. You don't.
Hey, y'all.
It's incredible.
I know it's good to try to assimilate with your new
Right?
culture where you're living, but that's not the way to do it.
So he had a post-game press conference the other day after practice.
Right.
And I guess the athletic department at LSU is, well, they have a sponsor.
Sure. Everybody
And-
has sponsors. We do sponsor reads. Don and Mud do, sponsors, and they tell you what they got and everything else. Everybody's got to do it.
I don't know if Brian Kelly got chewed out for not giving the sponsor any love.
I do wonder if that was the case.
If this was petty, then I love it even more.
Right.
This was very Ben and Woods-esque.
Very.
How Brian Kelly started his press conference the other day. Walks up.
Just a shout out to our sponsor, Coke. Smart water, great Coke product, minerals, vitamins.
What are vitamins?
Just great
That's the Boston coming out.
That killed me.
for you.
Vitamins.
So, refreshing, healthy, and Coke provides you all the products that you need, depending on what you like.
Coke.
And I love smart water.
Simply the best.
It's just incredible. It
Caught
is
on.
so incredible. Play the vitamins.
Just
part.
oozing with sincerity.
Yeah,
there.
just what a read.
Yeah, you like vitamins?
A lot of vim and vigor.
Just a
from
shout
him.
out to our sponsor, Coke. Smart water, great Coke product, minerals, vitamins.
Sales guy at LSU comes to him. Hey, I got you some copy points. I need you to
Make
make
them your
make
own?
it your own.
I need
here.
a lot of vim and vigor here.
Make it spooky.
Make it spooky. Ooh, vitamins. Vitamins murdered me. Murdered me.
What are vitamins?
What are vitamins? Holy cow.
I don't know
man.
where that came from, why he did it, but I absolutely loved it.
See, now, if Mike Shildt was listening, he should come in with a sponsor read or two for the
It would
manager's
be
report
incredible.
today.
Vitamins.
Hey, y'all, it's me, Mike Shildt. I'm just here at SDCCU. Why, SDCCU, simply the best. All right, next up, we got another audio clip. Now, we have talked about this already once or twice in the last couple of weeks. Sunday on MLB Network, you will see the new documentary, The Professor, I believe it's called, about Greg Maddux. And
I can't wait.
We played the clip
I can't wait.
of him and Barry Bonds split screen in different locations at different times, watching the exact same at-bats and the thought process that went into it from both points of view. It was such good, it was riveting baseball content.
Could watch 10 hours of it. Yeah.
They have released a new clip. It's about a minute long, a trailer here, just getting hyped for Sunday. I cannot wait for this documentary. Here's the latest trailer from that.
We were regular season and we were winning like 8-0. It was easy game in the 8th inning. And he told me, don't throw anything inside on Bagwell.
On Bagwell.
That's their catcher, Eddie Perez, by the way.
Or everything outside. And I said, okay. I think it was somebody odd. And he wants to go inside. And I, okay, it's your game. So I went inside, called inside, and Bagwell hit like 1,000-mile.
Hammered it.
Now it's
And I was mad, and I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, they got a good team. We got a good team. We're going to play them in the playoff. He's going to wait for that pitch. 3 months later, we're in the playoff, bases loaded in the 7th. We threw 3 straight changes and struck him out.
You are kidding.
He gave him
And
a
I
home
was
run on
walking
purpose.
to the dugout. He goes, hey. And I look at him and say, you remember 3 months ago, 2 months ago? And I said, no, I don't. He was looking for that pitch, the homer that he hit. And I was like, this guy. It's how smart he was.
It's like the greatest thing I've ever.
Said, I got an 8-run lead.
Yes,
I'm gonna set him up by giving him a cookie that he's gonna get hit for a home run. But then the next time I face him
in the playoffs,
I know he's gonna have that in his mind, and I'm gonna use that against him in a bigger situation later.
It's the
like he'll think he might miss and give me that same pitch that he did.
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't miss. He threw that pitch on purpose to you to hit a home run to set you up later. That's insane.
I'm telling you, man, when I watch stuff like that and I watch the Bonds clip, I think to myself, I have a son, 2 sons, one really on fire for baseball. I have to teach them this game. I'm not qualified. I would never, ever in a million trillion years with an 8-0 lead think to myself, Let me hang one. Let me throw one in where he likes it. Let him hit one out because I might be able to get him 3 months from now in the playoffs. It just wouldn't even occur to me. That is absolutely
next level,
brilliant.
And of course, what is also so amazing is that Greg Maddux, who thinks like that, how to get out all of the best hitters in baseball,
Yeah.
4D chess, was completely flummoxed by Tony Gwynn.
Right.
Completely flummoxed, had no idea how to give him out, just to the point of, I'm throwing it down the middle just so I don't have to throw any more pitches to him. He's going to get a hit off me anyway. That's how much Tony Gwynn owned that guy, Greg Maddux.
It's incredible, man. This thing I'm going to watch, and I'm going to watch over and over and over. I don't know if it's like a 5-parter or a 2-hour one deal. It's not enough. I need a
5 p.m. on Sunday night.
I need a full Jordan-esque, like 10-parter on this guy, man. That is just in.
Logan Gillespie knows he may face the Mets again. Was just setting them up yesterday in the 9th inning. Brilliant 4D chess.
I don't know if I can go on.
Campusano's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
He's don't worry about it, Cappy. Don't worry about it. I got this.
Okay.
That is ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
Finally, I got some music news here for you guys. And I had no idea that Motley Crue was still making music. I thought they had hung it up. But one of my favorite bands, they've got a new EP. It's just 3 songs on their EP coming out on October 4th.
Yeah, I thought they were done making
music. The EP
music.
is titled Cancelled, and they're kind of hinting at maybe more music to come.
Oh, boy.
They said it was really great getting in the studio and working on some tracks together. What started out as a couple demo ideas turned into this EP. Produced by Bob Rock. We look forward to getting back into the studio again soon and writing new music as well.
I literally thought they just did a farewell tour.
So there are 3 tracks on the Canceled EP, or Canceled. Dogs of War, which I think was already released, and their newest single is a cover of the Beastie Boys, Fight for Your Right. And that was released earlier, I think actually yesterday. And any high hopes for this?
No.
Motley Crue.
Don't look
I
at
got
me.
it.
Don't look
You got some?
Tommy, 6, 5.
Nope.
You're already out.
Yeah. Oh, God. Kick it.
Well, the music sounds killer. All right, it's okay. You remember all the words to this song?
I never knew all the words to this song. I know the chorus.
You gotta fight for your right.
I never had to fight for my right to party. To be clear.
That's fair.
Never
I
wanted to fight.
believe that about you, actually.
I laid down my arms in that battle long ago.
You did. You did. That's not bad. Better than I thought it would be.
You're okay with it.
It's Vince's voice, man, that just gets me these days. Yeah, somebody said this is like Kids Bop, but reversed. Old Bop.
Old Bop.
Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. That's true. Yeah, still hanging on, Motley Crue.
It's kind of sad.
I mean,
I've seen some rough videos.
Hey,
of
they
Vince
all
Neil.
sound. Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee sound fantastic,
Yeah.
and they look fantastic. Vince Neil looks just as rough
And you
and
can't
sounds.
have your front man.
He don't know. He don't sit down now. He can't sing anymore.
Haggy, haggy,
He
haggy.
he don't want in the mountains. He yeah.
Kicks out my heart.
It's find that clip. Let's play it for Shildt coming up next. He
He's
likes
a big
it.
Motley Crue.
Huge Motley Crue guy.
Brian
Thank you,
Kelly
Paulie.
would like you to know that this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com. We have Mike Shildt coming up here at the top of the hour. What you will not get is any panicking from the skipper of the San Diego Padres. I can tell you that.
Yep.
Right now.
That's a fair assessment.
He remained last night after the game immensely confident in his team's ability to turn things around rather quickly.
Sure.
Said, hey, back-to-back losses, they are going to happen, as we discussed. Mike Shildt is going to be positive, and he is going to be optimistic, and he is going to wonder why the rest of us are even concerned at all about his team, which has played really good baseball since the All-Star break. So
Very good baseball.
Keep that in mind as we get ready to welcome him to the program. I do think there are some questions that we'll ask. The move with Matt Waldron, certainly is something interesting. I doubt he'll reveal the plan for what they're going to do with the starting rotation, but we'll certainly just ask him about the move and what that was all about yesterday, and we'll try to make it a good conversation here with Mike Shildt coming up.
Yeah, no question, man. Always excited to talk to the skipper on a Friday, and as they get ready to take on the Mets tonight. Yeah, I mean, you feel like you want to get back on the he's as the manager. We talked about the dopamine hit of a win. I mean, we need it as fans. I'm sure it's no different for the players and the managers. They just have a better ability to let a bad play go away, to let a bad at bat, flush the bad at bat or flush a bad game. And that's what makes them professionals. They have that ability to do it. Don't carry it around. You can't. You got another game today you got to get ready for.
Yeah, and, obviously the last 2 days rough. 35 hits allowed.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of those were Waldron, who's no longer with the team, and Gillespie was probably, was a temporary Band-Aid for a day or so. So, and Cease gave up 9, but quality start.
Yeah, great start.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
So we'll talk to Mike Shildt when we come back. Our Manager's Report coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It is a FRIAR Friday here on 97.3 The Fan. This afternoon, 2:20, Jason Adams going to be on with Gwen and Chris. But right now, it is time for our Manager's Report, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It is better. And we were just talking about how the fan base right now needs a dose of confidence and calmness. And we know we always get that. One of the strengths of the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, with us right now on 97.3 The Fan. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
Doing really well, man. How you doing?
No complaints here.
Yeah, same here. I wanted to ask you it's kind of a two-parter, Skip, so forgive me, but we talked, the last couple of days about Matt Waldron and how much he stepped up when this team needed him the most. Two-parter is, what did you see from him kind of in his last few starts, right? And then how tough is that conversation that you have to have with a guy like Matt Waldron when he's done so much? This was not like hey, it's just a roster crunch, you'll be back in no time. It's, hey, you got to pack and you got to go to El Paso. And how tough is that for a skipper to do?
Yeah, it's way harder for the player, obviously, but not an easy conversation at all. None of those conversations are, but, especially with Matty, it was one of the more challenging ones for everybody involved. The fact of the matter is, we're in a really good spot, and a good reason for that is because of Matt. He really pitched well for a long period of time. He also, he was the guy that stayed on turn pretty much the whole season. We know we need some, over the course of a long season. It's important that, especially for guys that are going through it for some of the first times, and Matty's one of them, to make sure they get the right blows over the course of the season. And, he was the guy that was able to continue to take the ball. We didn't give him the All-Star break can typically be a time where we can reset, which we did with Dylan and Michael and some of the guys, but really only gave an extra day to Waldy. There were multiple times where he just, stayed on either regular rest or just an extra day. We always do our best to take care of every single guy, but it doesn't always work out. And, Matt was able to take the ball. We wanted to have a break for, almost every guy this season. Of course, Joe got his, and, Vasquez has been up and down, and, Michael, he got a couple really with the All-Star break, was able to give him some extra days. And then, it kind of was a blessing that he took the comebacker in Baltimore and he missed a start, and, it was 11 days before he got on a game mound and pitched. So that was turned out to be a little bit of a built-in blow. And Dylan, again, but also with Michael and Dylan, we've been able to, take advantage of the schedule and give them extra days here and there. And then Dylan, with the rain situation in Pittsburgh, that created a little bit of a blow as well for him. But the wrap-up points, all of it is Matty didn't really get that. And, we wanted to give him a blow at some point in the course season, and now the opportunity and time has presented itself now.
Talking to Mike Shildt, was exciting yesterday to see Fernando Tatis Jr. out there on the field, pregame sprints, going to get back into the cages either today or soon, according to what you said after the game. I know there's a reason why you're not going to put an exact timetable on it, and I won't ask you about exactly when he's coming back, but I will ask you, what are you kind of looking for in terms of how fast he can come back? Like, are there things that you want to see, boxes you still want to see checked, other than just getting him back to, strength and health and being able to sprint around the bases?
Yeah, there is a timeline, there's a plan, but it only goes according to how he recovers, and so that's why you don't want to make it anything official or absolute, because it can get pushed back a day, get accelerated a day if he's feeling good, or multiple days. But yeah, we don't want to. We've got a plan. What we're looking for is him being able to do all the baseball activities without any hindrance. And every guy's a little more unique. The thing that I appreciate, first of all, is the fact that he's getting back and he's getting closer. So that's clearly good news. Him being able to to ramp up his intensity means he's getting closer. So that's good news for all of us. Every player's a little different. We trust our players. We got a great medical staff. Our staff is outstanding in how they go about taking care of our guys, keeping them healthy, the ones that are on the roster, and they do a phenomenal job with the guys that are coming back from something. We really do have an A+ medical group that work extremely hard. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you also partner with the player. Bogey, we sat him down with all the, coaches, field coaches, infield, base running, hitting, the strength conditioning, of course, the medical, and, Bogey weighed in as well. Same with Toddy. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Guys that have experience in the league that knows what it takes to get their body ready for a season or to come back from something. We want to make sure they're involved. That just is common sense to me. And we've done that with Toddy, and he's been able to share what he thinks. And, we'll do the appropriate amount of rehab relative to bats and, throwing the bases and getting on the bases and running. And, we'll just, we'll trust the people that, are with him when we're not with him in the organization. And, we have a lot of quality people in our player development system that'll continue to work with him when we're not around. And, it takes a village, so to speak. And then, we'll use our experiences too. We'll weigh in with him, and we'll get him back on the field when it's the right day.
You talk about lanes, Skip. We're talking to Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning. You always talk about lanes, finding a lane for a certain player, whether position player, pitcher, whatever it may be. Obviously, we know and appreciate how much you prioritize defense. I mean, I think every coach does. And how tempting, though, is it for you, given what Donovan Solano's been able to do, not only off the bench, but when he gets some starts? How tempting is it for you to just, I don't know, maybe put defense on the back burner and say, we got to get his stick in the lineup?
Well, I guess it's hard to, I'll answer the question. I mean, it's hard. Guys are great at bat. He's filled a beautiful role. I mean, I like the fact that guys know what their roles are. It helps players. Roles change, for a variety of reasons, but we've been able to be pretty consistent with our play based on the roles we've gotten. He's been able to get in the lineup against lefties. We get him an opportunity in the right times when he's coming off the bench, and I feel like that's been productive. I think we picked the right opportunity for him. So I feel like we got a good spot for Donovan. I guess the question I'd probably ask you back is for who?
It's a good question. It's a fair question, yeah. Mike. It's a good question that you ask. And yeah, I mean, if he was a really good shortstop, well, it's a pretty easy answer, right? But it's not. So I know you have to do some maneuvering here and there. And with Ariza's thumb, he's battling through it. Picked up a couple knocks. Like, he's such a great dude to watch hit. When you have a guy that's hitting as well, I kind of understand the finding the lane for him, and when it's working, why mess with it? So I do understand that aspect, but I just wanted to know, like, from a manager's perspective, is it something that you maybe grind over just a little bit as you're like, man, I'd like to get him in there. He does give us a good AB.
Yeah, get him in there. I don't, listen, I love the guys at bat. I love the guy. I've known him since he was 16 years old. He's a good player. He's a great at bat. We have good players. So I don't really know who that would be for still.
You talk about, roles and lanes. Something you talked about earlier this week fascinated me, and I wanted to explore it a little bit more, was the difference between playing shortstop and second base. I think for a lot of just, baseball fans, you look at it and go, they're up the middle. One's a longer throw, obviously. One's a shorter throw. So you put the guy with the better arm at short, and you leave it at that. And you kind of talked about how it's so much more. Give us your perspective on why it's more different than maybe a lot of us realize.
Well, I mean, it's really depends a little bit on your background. If you've played both, it can be clearly easier if you've grown up playing them both. But they are different, and I think it's easier to go from second to short. Not that it's easy, and a lot of guys have done both, and been more of the utility guy, but at shortstop, you're coming in, and effectively every play you're making is working towards first base. Whether you got the ball in the hole, that's clearly a little bit different, but pretty much everything else you're working and coming in, routine ground ball, your rhythms to first base, slow roller, your rhythms to first base, your movements to first base, ball to your left. But I think the biggest one is turning the double play. You're coming in from first or second, getting a feed, and you're facing the, first base where you're throwing, and your momentum's taking you that way. At second base, even when you're coming in on a ball that's right at you, you're still working closer to more of home plate. And of course, if you have a backhand or a chopper, you're still having to throw across your body more. The only ball that you're really working and flowing towards first base is that ball to your glove side, and that puts you in a rhythm to go right to first base. And then now you talk about the double play, and if you've ever done it, it's just different. And so when you're making that feed, whether it's coming across the bag or coming back off the bag, depending on where the throw takes you, or if the pivot is a little closer to the guy that's feeding it from short, you may come back off the bag. But either way, regardless of which way, and there is multiple pivots, your back is to the runner, and then you're having to open up, and your footwork is just completely different to be able to throw to first base. And I know the question's been asked, or I'm guessing the question's asked based on Bogey. And again, what a tremendous job he's done, A, to be willing to go over there, and B, to acclimate as quickly as he has. He worked really hard to really do a nice job. It's finally getting settled in, but like your hip action and your pivoting, it's just, like I said, it's different. So if you're not used to it, you got a blind spot, which isn't comfortable, and you got to get used to. And then you've got different movements of your body that need to be adjusted, and how you make that pivot. So there's a fair amount to it.
Talking to Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning. Obviously, Joe Musgrove back on the bump tonight. Everyone's excited to see him pitch. Everyone's excited to see him pitch against the Mets, where he has a little bit of history, Skip. And, when do we how's he feeling, number one? I know he's had two really nice starts for you. When do maybe the restrictor plates come off, or is that game dependent and how he does?
Well, you typically, first of all, it's great to have Joe back. He's had really two efficient starts, effective starts, efficient in pitch count and effective in results. Joe's obviously a great competitor, fills up the zone, has multiple pitches working, so he's looked good. He went from 63, I think was his first outing. He got to 72 last outing. A typical progression, but we don't force it. Is probably about a 15 pitch ramp up from the previous one in games. So he's starting to get built up to where he's just a regular starter that can go out and grab 6 or 7. But we'll monitor what that looks like and see how hard he's working and evaluate that.
Mike, I know every organization takes metrics now seriously, whether it's hitting or pitching or even fielding. But I wanted to ask you about your opinion of defensive metrics, because sometimes, we watch a player like Manny Machado, and he's clearly not just good. He's one of the best of all time defensively at his position at third base. Just makes it look so smooth. But he doesn't always fare that well in some of the advanced, outs above average type defensive metrics. So how much stock do you put in those defensive metric numbers versus your own personal eye test on defense?
I love using the metrics and the analytic information as part of the equation. It can crystallize, what we're doing well, an area that can, need some improvement. But it's like anything, there's nothing absolute about it. It's a wonderful resource to use, and it starts to crystallize, what individually we need to work on more, and then maybe get more specific with some of the, is it the jump? Is it a route? is it a certain play, and then it allows our work to be efficient with that player, or it could be something that, big picture, that it reflects a team that needs to be doing something more or less of. But it's definitely a tool. The thing that's interesting about it is, we talk about a lot internally, is making sure we qualify the right information and understand the baseball side to it, because sometimes a player can get dinged for something, and it may not be reflected as intuitively from the analytics side, and then that's why we spend a lot of time, which we have a great analytic department, research development department. These guys are awesome. They really do a great job. Their positioning recommendations are very, very good. So we partner with our baseball side, we partner with our analytics side, and we talk about the why behind where a guy was playing, or whether he made the play or not, and but specific to Manny and the eye test, I can tell you this, I don't know who else I'd trade for him to go play third base, and I know when the game's on the line, I want the ball hit to him, and he's made plays that normal big leaguers just don't make. I mean, it makes him look easy
all the time. Yeah, all the time.
He saved our bacon, multiple times defensively, and made some really outstanding plays and some really challenging plays that, the crony helps on the other side too, because it's not easy to make a long, accurate throw from 130 feet away on the run with your back turn. But most of the time he's pretty accurate. So I don't know if that answer your question, but that's kind of
it's good. I laugh because sometimes the metrics go, well, Manny's actually the 13th best third baseman in baseball. No, he's not. That's ridiculous. We all know that he's one of the best of all time, and sometimes the numbers don't always reflect that, but how you guys use it, it's an interesting answer and interesting conversation today. Good luck, of course, tonight. I will remind everybody, Padres have won 9 of their last 10 series, and they could still take this one from the Mets with a good weekend here, and we hope you do it. Mike, thank you much for your time.
You're quite welcome. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much. That is Mike Shildt, the manager of the Padres. Our manager's report brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It is better. Yeah, I love when he talks about the specifics of the game, like the difference between playing second and short, something I had not really thought about much. The fact that you're a second baseman, you're facing toward the other side of the diamond. So every throw other than the one that's right to your left is now across your body. And the kind of adjustment that Xander had to make as he was going from short to second is actually in some ways harder than, as he said, going from second to short can oftentimes be easier. If you've got the arm for it.
Working downhill, man.
It's all kind of right in front of you there. So that's good stuff from Mike Shildt today. All right, we'll come back. We'll break that down. We'll get to we've got lots to get to still in the last couple of programs. What do we have?
Let's just go to break.
Friday Ben.
Yeah,
man.
Friday Ben.
How
about traffic? Let's go to traffic
Let's
here.
tease traffic
on
here.
97.3 The Fan.
On 97.3 The Fan.
Thanks again to the skipper, Mike Shildt, our management report. Again, our FRIAR Friday player guest this afternoon with Gwen and Chris, Jason Adam. And speaking of big guests, a little over an hour from now, Landon Donovan, coach of the Wave, going to be on with Annie and Elston. So lots to look forward to here on a Friday.
I like that term, and Brian did too. Saved our bacon. I like that.
I mean, that's
where does that come from?
That's a good question.
Saved your bacon. I saved
bacon's not something you can really save.
You can hoard it.
Yeah, but you better eat it pretty fast. It's not like it's perishable.
Well, right. If it's raw, if you cook it, you can
not that long, maybe a day or two.
You're
not going to want to keep
Who
bacon
keeps
around.
bacon around? I mean, if it's there, you just
you eat it.
Yeah.
Like you cook up fresh bacon in the morning. You're not putting it in the, we got 3 slices left. What are you going to do? Put them in the freezer?
No, somebody's going to get
No,
those
you're
down.
just going to eat them. Someone's going to eat them.
He saved our bacon.
Saved our bacon.
He saved our bacon.
That is.
I've heard it my whole life.
I mean, it must have something to do with farms and
like a pig.
Storing stuff for the winter.
I love his laugh so much. So much.
Saved our bacon.
Saved our bacon. I love it.
There's that is election year, and there's a certain horse race phenomenon going right now with the Rookie of the Year race in the National League.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday was the first day, according to Las Vegas odds, that Jackson Merrill actually was now the favorite to win the National League Rookie of the Year. And then what happens? He goes 0 for 4 while Paul Skeens goes out and throws 6 shutout innings against the Cincinnati Reds with 9 strikeouts. So now the horse race kind of a little momentum on the Skeens side for a minute until Jackson Merrill obviously going to do the next big thing that Jackson Merrill does.
Hopefully tonight.
Yeah, hopefully tonight, and to tip the scales back in his favor. But I wonder if this is going to continue on.
Yeah,
if they don't shut down Skeens, it'll kind of be this back and forth maybe for the rest of the season.
But that's what makes it so unfair, is because Skeens doesn't have to do anything until 5 days from now. Jackson
but
Merrill's
I think that's an advantage for Merrill.
I do too.
He gets chances every day to impress the voters,
That's
whereas
true.
Skeens has one shot a week to go out there, and if he has a bad one, it could be damaging. Now, he didn't. He had a good start yesterday against the Cincinnati Reds. Looked pretty solid. Although, my goodness, who was the umpire in that game? They were calling pitches
He got
100 miles an hour, a
6
foot and a half
inches.
outside, and go, ooh, strike 3. I'm going,
Yeah.
okay. Those go on Skeens' final total as a strikeout. There's no asterisk. Yeah. Well, yeah, but a few of those weren't even close to being strikes.
Well, it's like Jackson Merrill's home run the other day in a blowout. You're like, it still counts as a
yeah,
home
I guess
run.
so.
But
a 340-foot flyout doesn't count as a home run.
Right.
A strikeout does count as a strikeout, even though it should have been a ball.
Pitching Ninja posted it last night and said chalked fastball.
Chalked, like-
so it was on the chalk line. Yeah, you've heard it.
Not the black.
Painting the black.
Painting the chalk.
He was painting the chalk. He was getting 6 inches off the plate last night. You see Jackson last night after he K'd. The look of rage in his face after he swung. I think it was one of those back foot sweepers that were just disgusting by Severino. He was so mad last night. I love that. That kid does not want to give away an AB ever.
By the way, Carlos Mendoza, I thought, did a nice job with his bullpen there, because I'm sure if I was a Mets fan, you go, Severino, he's dealing. Why are you taking him out? Well, took him out for that reliever, Young?
Yeah.
And the lefty. Clearly tough on lefties, and he had the lane there with Merrill and Peralta to get a couple of lefties to prevent the Padres from getting anything going. I think that was, the top of the 6th after they took Severino out. And it's you're taking a guy out who's been really good, but you've got this guy who's clearly tough on lefties and gave 2 lefties in a row really tough at-bats in the middle of the game. It's good. That's good bullpen management by the Mets.
The ump definitely helped him out on the Peralta call. That ball was way above the zone, but yeah, last night, definitely not my favorite Padres game of the season, certainly. But, to find some positives out of it, Dylan Cease, I thought was a huge, huge positive last night, being able to rebound a little bit. And, obviously we talked about the meat of the order, going 0 for 15 last night. That's tough. It's tough to win ball games.
The bacon of the order.
The bacon of the order. The bottom of this order has carried us many, many games this season. Many, many games. They've done a great job.
They've saved the Padres bacon many times.
Yeah, many times.
According to the chat, one of the possible origins in the 1600s, people would call their body their bacon, like their skin. Save your bacon, like saved our skin.
Saved our bacon.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it.
I mean, we know what it means. We just don't know where it necessarily originates.
Yeah.
But it's old. It's hundreds and hundreds of years old as an expression.
Yeah. It was. I did think about that last night when I watched Skeens dealing. He got Ellie De La Cruz, I think, worked a walk. Skeens picked him off. I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be one of those nights for the Rookie of the Year chase. But yeah, he'll have to wait 5 days to do it again. Jackson Merrill can,
or longer. They stretched him out between a little bit. They may not. It may be like a once a week thing at most going forward for Paul Skeens the rest of the season.
Yeah, no doubt. So Jackson Merrill's got a chance. Why don't you go out and hit 3 home runs tonight? And,
he hasn't had back-to-back, bad days at the plate very often this season. I'll tell you that.
Far between.
For Jackson Merrill. All right, we'll take a timeout. Look ahead. Got a little insight from the skipper about Joe Musgrove for his start tonight. We can take a look at the matchup, the rest of the Mets series this weekend. Final segment of Ben and Woods coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. How about the week of Sam Levitt? Makes his debut as a Major League Baseball play-by-play broadcaster.
Crushed it, by the way.
Crushed it. Calls 2 wins. And then this morning, I just got a text from Adam earlier, making live local TV appearances on one of my competitors. We don't need to name which one.
It's Fox 5.
It's Fox 5.
Right.
It was Fox 5.
Yeah, Fox 5.
Channel 5.
Yeah, Fox.
Fine, whatever. Looking good, though. Sammy on TV as well.
It's great.
Solid week for one Sam Levitt. He'll have the pregame show for you at 5:40 today. Eco Water SoCal pregame show. First pitch 6:40 today as the Padres take on the New York Mets again. Joe Musgrove on the mound against Paul Blackburn. And pretty much Mike Shildt telling us that, well, you know, they keep an eye on Joe. He's close to like full go.
Being a
I
starter.
mean, if he's efficient, no reason he can't go 6 or even into the 7th. Based on, you know, somewhere in the 80-plus pitch range today. Now, obviously, they're always going to be careful and keep an eye on him, but it sounds like Joe's just about as close to, you know, 100% as most people are going to be at this point of the season. It's September. No one's 100%, but Joe looked good in his first 2 starts and can add, 10 to 15 more pitches on this one.
Be awesome, man. Need him badly, and like I mentioned to the skipper too, it's fun to watch Joe Musgrove pitch. It's really fun to watch Joe Musgrove pitch against the Mets. You know, there is a history there. There's
different manager,
sure, yeah, different personnel certainly, but you know. There's Met fans out there that don't like Joe Musgrove, and Joe Musgrove knows that, so he's excited to hopefully go out and shove tonight against the New York Mets. And they're, again, man, they remain a really scary-looking team.
They're hot. Yeah,
when Francisco Lindor's your leadoff hitter, and you've got Alonso, and you've got
Vientos' 10-game hitting streak. He's been hot.
He's been really, really good.
I mean, they've had walk-offs from Winker and Francisco Alvarez in the last few days.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that's coming to San Diego clicking on many cylinders and already has some success against the Padres this year.
A lot of success.
This was never going to be an easy series for the Padres, to be certain. And, the Mets are doing some scoreboard watching as well. We've been kind of doing it the last couple of weeks. The team they're cheering against most strenuously has got to be the Atlanta Braves. They were probably hoping for a little more help from the Phillies this week, but the Braves take 2 out of 3 in that series from Philadelphia, including Spencer Schwellenbach outdueling Christopher Sanchez yesterday 3-2. So, the Mets, that's the team that they're closest to in the wild card race and, trying to chase down. But the Braves have stabilized despite all those injuries and have not given much ground here the last couple of weeks. So that's the team right in front of the Mets right now in the wild card race.
Yeah, and in front of us, you got the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're going to be at Boston this weekend. Of course, the Dodgers are going to be playing at home against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay handled the Diamondbacks for us, but now, again, I'm not going to worry myself too much over these results. You got to go out and you got to beat the New York Mets. You got to figure out a way to win tonight against Paul Blackburn, who he's not a terrifyingly scary pitcher. And you got Joe Musgrove, and got to get the offense clicking again. And so, yeah, I mean, again, I like our chances. Certainly, team's good. Would love to get a little bit of that magic back. Certainly,
and obviously, the Dodgers, they're hosting the Rays, and they've stabilized as well.
Yeah.
In fact, the national take on the Dodgers is that they've weathered the storm.
Yep.
Gotten enough back that they're looking perhaps even like the favorites again that everyone thought they would be
MLB
at
Network
the beginning of the year.
Literally had them number 1 as the
Did they?
favorites to win the World Series as of today. Padres were not in the top.
No, I think they were bigger favorites at the start of the season even than they are right now.
They were bigger favorites at the start of the season than maybe anybody has ever been favorites. Really. I mean, they were 120 wins,
and they have not
wins.
They have not solved all their issues. They've gotten players back. Their lineup is pretty healthy now.
Way better.
But their pitching rotation remains a question mark due to multiple injuries and guys who aren't going to be coming back. They're not getting several of those guys back. Dustin May's not coming back. River Ryan's not coming back. There's Tommy John surgeries there. They've been getting good starts from Gavin Stone, from Clayton Kershaw lately. Still don't know if they're going to get anything from Walker Buehler, effective at least the rest of the season. So there remains question marks there that could ultimately be their undoing. But for the time being, they're a tough team. That 4.5 game lead over the Padres is looking more substantial than the 2-game lead just a few days
that
ago.
was a fun
they were
week.
right in the sights. Now all of a sudden, that's a pretty big ask, right? 4.5 games is a pretty big ask. Well, remember the Mets are 5.5 behind, 4.5 behind the Padres, 5.5 behind the Padres. So that's the same ask that the Mets need to catch, the teams ahead of them, like the Padres and the Diamondbacks, that you're asking the Padres and the Diamondbacks to catch the Dodgers at this point, 4.5. So exactly the same that the Padres are behind the Dodgers. They are ahead of the Mets.
You guys having fun with this? I am. I mean, it's fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
It's the losses, definitely sting when they happen. And I told you guys last week, when it happens, it's going to be jarring. And it did feel a little jarring last night, certainly. But back at it. That's the beauty of baseball. You got another game tonight. So, it's a huge series, man. It's a huge series. You live for this, though. This is what we begged for. And really, to be honest, nobody thought we would be in this type of position. All the teams, like the Phillies and the Yankees and the Dodgers, they stacked so many wins at the beginning of the season. And you're seeing the Phillies right now in the chamber a little bit. I mean, they are in the chamber. They did not want to lose 2 or 3 to that team, the Atlanta Braves, and they're 74-53, 5-5 in their last 10. So they're feeling a little bit. Harper, Turner, their middle of the order in the series against the Braves were horrible. Did not get anything going. So I looked at a Phillies thread last night. Their fans have lost their mind. I read some Padres tweets. The Phillies fans were like, "You guys are bums. You're worthless. The worst team I've ever seen." I mean, it is. People are starting to lose their minds. So keep your head about you during these pennant races.
I mean, even now, the Padres are still just 3 games behind the Phillies and 2 games behind the Brewers. Unfortunately, though, you could have the second best record in the National League, and if you don't win your division, you don't get the second seed. You still get the 4th seed. The top wild card seed is the best you can get unless you catch the Dodgers, and they're the team that is, pulled away to a virtually 99.99% chance at making the playoffs at this point. So you could chase down the Brewers and Phillies, and essentially it doesn't mean anything at all. You still have to go through the wild card series. I mean, you'd be home for those 3 games, but that's the only advantage you get for having the second best record in the National League if you're in the division that has the best record, which happened, remember, to the Dodgers a few years ago when they played the Giants, when they actually lost the division 107 wins to 106. Dodgers had to go through that playoff to get through and make it to that series.
The Giants won 106 games that year.
107
games that year was insane. And you looked at their roster and you went, how? How did they do that? And, they're I guess they're still in it. They're still creeping. And it's just the next, 5 weeks is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's also going to be a little excruciating.
That last week just has so much potential to be insane with going on the road. 3 against the Dodgers.
3 against the Dodgers.
3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Diamondbacks.
I mean, at this point, if the standings kind of stayed where they are, those Dodger games would be somewhat meaningless because they'd be too far for you to catch them.
Correct.
And then the Diamondbacks games maybe would be for just see who gets the home seed for a playoff series between the 2 teams.
Right, you finish up the season on Sunday afternoon. Are you getting on a plane and heading back to San Diego for a 3-game playoff series against the Diamondbacks?
Staying in Arizona.
Or do you stay there?
How much do you want to go for that? I mean, if let's say it comes down to the last day of the season, and you can either have Dylan Cease pitching to get you home field advantage, but then he can't pitch in the first 2 games of the wild card series because you've used him.
Forget it.
Or do you just go, we'll take our chances with, Matt Waldron coming up, and if we lose, fine, we're on the road, but we've got our pitching rotation set up.
I want my arms, man. I really do.
That's a
you
scenario.
Would still have him though. You'd have him for Game 3. I mean, it depends. Is
if
Darvish
you get
back?
to Game 3,
how's Musgrove pitching?
I mean, again, there's a lot that can happen between now and then.
You can't.
But there's a real possibility that the Padres are going to face that decision in the last series of the season. Do we want to set up our pitching, or do we want to go for seeding in the playoffs in those last 3 games?
Does it depend on what the Diamondbacks
of
do
course.
as well? Yeah.
Of course. It's dependent on a whole lot of issues at the end of the year. But that very well could be something both teams are looking at. Do we want to save Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, or do we want to try to win this series so we stay at home and not have to go to San Diego? Both teams could be facing that same decision at the end of the season.
That's going to lead to some really fun sports talk and some callers, and
No doubt about it.
I want my best arms. I'll take my chances at Chase Field.
And that's the irony. They could be tied going into the last day of the season, and both teams are going, we are totally punting on this last game because we got to save all of our pitching
Gentlemen's
to face
agreement.
this same team. Like, how about we just flip a coin?
I'll go my 5 against your 5, and let's see what happens. And, two guys were not. Martin Perez, grab the ball. You're all over him. Matt Waldron. No, man,
I mean,
that's
again,
fun.
long way off, and a lot of things kind of have to fall into place before that's a scenario. But that's very much a scenario that no one's talked about that could very well be exactly how it plays out. All right, you've got things I like queued up for the end of the week. It's the ever-extending list.
Oh, yeah.
Before that, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Macy's. It's Macy's ultimate shopping event with an extra 25% off designers that rarely go on sale and 15% off beauty, too. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply today at Macy's. We'll check traffic, and then we'll come back. Things Ben likes to wrap up the week here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Pretty decent wrap-up for our morning drive, guys. We are not showing any problem spots at all. In fact, really no brake lights. Finally, your full blast out of Santee, that westbound side of the 52. Hey, keep in mind, you got a little Caltrans where it's got the right lane blocked along westbound 8 at Fairmont. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I like good, juicy, sweet strawberries.
I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub. I like more of a small derriere. I like cake.
I like Ed Sheeran.
I like both a hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks. I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie.
Oh, no, I like it creamy. I like good, firm banana.
I like just looking out at the sea. I like eating.
I like moist.
I like curry.
I like big butts.
I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm filling. I like corn.
I like Nordstrom. I do like musicals.
I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting a start today. I like nuts. I like Steph Curry. I like that song.
I like Squirt.
I like Saki. I like San Diego State.
I like Straight Up, Paula Abdul.
I like the beef and broccoli. I like to mix it up. I like Science Experiments. I like that song. I like the crispiness of the waffle. I really like cheese. I liked the little lunch meat. I like very straight lines. I like cannelloni. I like a well-crafted headline. I like brown sugar. I like maps. I'll say I like Justin Turner.
I like going to golf games. I like diving into chores.
I like sugar.
I do like Butterfinger. I like blue and silver are not bad colors. I like the time change. I like Major League Baseball's new rule. I like the radio. I like geography. I like the knuckle method. I like Skippy. And I like pie. And I like Bob Melvin. I really do. I like Jace Tingler, too. I like this day. I like being right. I still do like movie scores. I like good food. I like maps. Right. I like when interviews can turn into organic conversation. I do like a Stouffer's French bread pizza. I like having the wind go through my hair. I think I like shows that the characters have an arc. I like the full lettuce, tomato, onion experience as well. I like those kind of burgers. I like that big overflowing bag of fries. I like those little Smarties rolls. I liked what I saw from Seth Lugo. I liked his competitive fire. I like walking around between the different lands. Steve Kerr, though, I like that. I like living on the coast. I like watching Tigers still. I like the idea of that matchup. I liked what I saw in the preseason. I like the aloneness sometimes of Texas Hold'em. I like watching San Diego State basketball. I like those cashew buttered cashews. I like cold, clear sake. I like a lot of things. I like Chick-fil-A sauce. I just like rankings. I like Steve Winwood. I like Pie Gal Poker. I like to be informed on subjects. I like Chicago. I like Tom Petty. I like the idea of another left-handed bat in the lineup for sure. I do like a good Matt Damon film. I like being on the same page. I like broccoli. I like Brussels sprouts. I like a lot of things. I like this shirt. I like Wipeout. I liked my omelet. I like San Diego State at home. I like when a baseball player can be more than just a baseball player. I like vanilla. I like the atmosphere. I like the felt on a poker table, just kind of how it feels under your fingers when you're there. I like rhubarb pie. I like the window seat. Changing the subject. I like that. I like just the standard yellow peep. I like how San Diego State's playing right now. I like finer things. I like calling a game. I like fiction more than nonfiction, just like the cream. I actually like playing golf with other people. I've liked everything I've seen so far from Mike Shildt. I like Mexican food. I like just the solar system. I do like steak. I like specifics. I like going to 7 Mile Casino during the day. I like that people are there having a good time. I like my new eating schedule. I liked what I was eating. Yeah, I like the variety of the menu at Sammy's. I do like a good midnight buffet.
Wow.
I feel like midnight buffet was in there twice.
Oh, I think it was, actually. I think I heard it twice.
I've got diving into chores. I like that, which I do have to do this weekend. I also like playing golf with other people, which I will also be doing this weekend in the club championship at the GOAT.
What are your chores, by the way?
I'd clean the shower is my next chore on the list.
Like with soft scrub?
Yes,
Because you like
I
that.
like the smell of soft scrub. I will get the soft
smell.
scrub out, enjoy that smell.
Do you use like steel wool? What do you use?
Yeah, I usually use the old sponge that is about to go from the kitchen before I break out the new one. So it's like the last use of the sponge is to clean the bathroom. And then you break out a nice new one for your kitchen.
Megadoomer says, I like that segment ended. I'll kill you, Megadoomer.
What color is your sponge? Is it blue and silver? Because those aren't bad
No,
colors.
they aren't bad colors. No, it's yellow and green those are not the best colors.
Why don't you? I would make my kids do it. Make your kids do it. That's what you should.
It won't get done.
It won't get done right.
Or it won't get done right if I do that.
If I'm your age and Bo and Taylor are at home, they're done for.
I know.
I'll make it so miserable on them that they beg to move.
I run my life a little differently.
You do.
Good luck to the Tier 1s. You get a game on Sunday.
Yes, we do. 1
And
o'clock.
Good
Orange Land.
luck to the Padres. I would like to come back on
I'd like a win.
Monday
or
or three would be great.
Great.
Like Ryan Cohen, that he was sitting in with us
Thank
today.
you, buddy. Love you. Proud of you.
For executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Annie and Elston with Landon Donovan coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. Have a great weekend, everybody.